Well, none of them can hide from the truth, yeah. Children have to go back to the roots, yeah. None of them can hide from the truth, yeah. Children have to go back to the roots. I'm telling you now, the truth, the truth. Telling you, yeah, the truth, the truth. You have to go back to the roots, the roots. Go to the roots, to the roots. Yeah, man, this is Benjamin out of the Smiling Coast, West Africa, Gambia, representing for the one and only Abu, the big man you don't know, the Soninke warrior, the man that brings the truth, Soninke warrior, the sign of enlightenment, the Soninke warrior, the righteous and the true African. Abu, reveal the truth to them, no matter how them try run from it, because none of them can hide from the truth, yeah. Yes, we have to dig back the roots, yeah. Fire!
Subscribe now.
I remember the days, all those years ago that never fade away. And I remember your face when you hit the ground. I can recall the time and place on the midnight walk through the old streets, trying to turn back the clock to the days of old, back to the days when all the things we knew were made of gold. As the world moves on, time sings a song. In the old neighborhood, as the clock strikes one, the memory lives just as it stood, like a quiet dream. The shadows of that time.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Afridamus Report. I'm your host, Afridamus. Guys, if you haven't already hit the like, and so the stream can reach all the people that should be out here hanging out with us. So, ladies and gentlemen, let me see. We got AB in the house. Kabuda said, "You are a must-eated Afridamus, I guess." 86 Liar, welcome in the house. So, guys, just like the title says, the question is, does FBA have a culture? That's what we're going to be talking about today. A conversation that took place in a podcast. So, as you guys are aware, if you're not aware, there's been this surge of FBAs, creating make believe beef between them and Africans. So I don't know why the focus is Africans in particular, but so they talk about delineation, but you're like, okay, delineate from what? But when you listen to them, 1 minute they say, oh, Africans don't want their kids to play with us. Africans will not, allow their women to marry us. Okay? So, for example, if that's the perception, maybe there's a reason for it, you know. But then they come up, they're like, oh, we have to delineate, they give, now they said they're against all, foreign blacks. So to me, when you look at the blacks, the way they roll, like this FBA, they have what you call the main character syndrome. If you don't live in America or interact with the blacks that much, you will know what you're seeing here on the internet, because the internet has been a blessing and a curse at the same time. So, because if you look at it, American marketing helped the blacks, because America paints them, part of the culture, because even this rap and everything the blacks brag about, it's not really their culture. Because the best rapper alive is a white man. There are plenty of white rappers. So rap is just an American culture. You know, America is predominantly European. The culture here that dominates is European culture. The blacks were brought here, from Africa as slaves. You know, they worked in farms. Clearly, we can see these buildings are European buildings. Nobody's saying no black person worked in those buildings. That's not what anybody is claiming. But they go around, trying to convince people that they built America. Do you see white people ever proving to anyone that they built America? We get it. America is a developed country. Like would say 80%. But they're still, building. People are still building. So we see who is building. But FBA, they want to bring conversation to you about, like times that you weren't alive, they weren't alive, and then they want you to engage in an argument with them about this. And I've been saying this before. I don't know if, those of you that have been enrolled in this, negrology class back in the days, if you still remember, if you look at the leader of the FBA, because like in America, the blacks, they are like a trendy people. They go with what is trendy. So this is why, like, sometimes you would see, um, like they are Indian. If they popularize being Indian, you've already seen some of them are already claiming being Indian, right? So Tariq used to be a Pan African, and he would talk about white supremacy. Um, he even made, so-called documentaries, to show that, their ancestors were Africans. He even made a documentary about Haiti, 1804, right? So I'm just giving you a brief history here, to show you that you are dealing with a group of people who, they just go along with whatever, you know. And also, it's like a leftist. They get mad at you for seeing what you are seeing right in front of you. How many people that have been to America, outside of America, right? They advertise America on television, the way they present everything. You think everything is gonna come to you on a silver platter. How many of you have thought that, and then you come to America, you find out it's the complete opposite? Like, yeah, it's beautiful, the opportunity is there, but it's not like in the movie. Like, you have to really grind, you have to put in time, you have to work hard. So it's the same thing, you know. So when you're dealing with these FBA characters, many of them, they don't have real life interaction. They believe in what they see on television. Okay. So with this internet age, everybody's got a phone, they all make content, and people are listening and paying attention. So it's like your celebrity. This is why they said, you know um don't ever meet your hero in real life. So that's what happened to, a lot of the blacks. And then they don't want to accept it because America presented them as, Fresh Prince of Bel Air, for instance. Okay? Or everyone is a Malcolm X or Martin Luther King. Or everybody is a basketball player or NFL, or they all can dance, you know? And if you've never been to America, you would think it's like that. Or if you watch Menace to Society, you would think all the blacks are like that. So when people come here, immigrants, it doesn't matter where they come from. Immigrants come to America with a different mindset, different agenda. So in America, they have us, the system is in place. You can either take advantage and loopholes in the system and benefit yourself, and it's legal, or you can be one of the people that think that the system somehow owes you, right? So an immigrant, I would think, all the immigrants I know, certainly myself moving here, never had a sense of entitlement. You imagine you come here, you are hungry, you want to work, and here comes Jerome or Ray Ray. He was born and raised here, or Bonquisha, born and raised in America, got a social security number already. Mind you, you didn't even have that yet. You are not even legal to work. So you got to come out of your pocket. And all over you, all around you, you're seeing, looking for, you know, uh, workers, looking for workers. But you can't work at this time. You are hungry. And in America, the moment you get, like if you're born here, you get your social security number right away, and that's your own. It's not, no two people have the same social security number. And that's not by race. When you turn 18, and in most states, you can start work at 16, 15 even. So when you turn 18, you become your own person, you become responsible for yourself. So when an immigrant comes, eventually you get your social security number, that person, and they have the right to work. Do you think that individual have the same agenda or perspective as you? You've been here this whole time. You were born and raised. You want to come and complain to me on how you have it bad. You see? So that is the disconnect. And then people, many people, and this is real life, is real life. Okay? You want to come to my face and cry about, what you can't get. Oh, it's because I'm black. My skin is black. You're looking at yourself like, buddy, if it's about the skin color, like I'm at a disadvantage over here. But black, since the blacks go by, because the person looks like you, now all of you have the same plight. Not true. You have to remember the blacks are still technically owned. The government technically still owns them. Don't forget. Because the blacks only had, they were emancipated. The Emancipation Proclamation that they signed, when Abe Lincoln signed it, it's not freedom. It's not like the blacks had a dispute and they were able to force the hand of the white people and force them at a treaty and say, you must free us. That's not what happened. Okay? They had to fight a civil war. The southern slave owners, they lost, right? But to create unity, the whites, the American government at the time had to pay the plantation owners because they bought those slaves. And among those plantation owners, there were 4,000 4,000 of those plantation owners were black themselves, who owned slaves at the time. So the government signed emancipated the blacks, not freed them, and paid the plantation owners. So this is why, if you notice, the blacks, their interaction, the way the government interact with them, and the way the government interact with foreign blacks is different. It's completely different. You see, it's not the same. So that proves that their plight and somebody that consciously immigrated here is completely different. You see, but then they are like, oh, we all black. I'm the same black as a Kenyan person, but I'm not all of a sudden a Luo. It's not the same culture. I'm not gonna see a Kenyan person and then I all of a sudden think I'm Kenyan. Okay? There were no Mau Mau's situation in my country, and then just because the Kenyans are from Africa, and then now all of a sudden I start pretending that is my history. This is what they want you to do. Remember, they'll be like, oh yeah, oh the blacks, oh these Africans, they don't care about our history. How do you know? Is it possible you don't care about your own history? Maybe, just maybe, okay, if you know your history, you should be the one that tells this person your history, right? But no, they want you to assimilate to them what's there to assimilate to. It's not like when you get here, there is like black factories. Because like Asians, right? They have Chinatown. And the Chinese, they've been here like over, over 100 years. Okay? So they have Chinatowns in all these cities. So like when a Chinese come, for instance, even, like he can just go to Chinatown and get a job. The Italians have the same thing. Most ethnic groups, Ethiopians, for example, right? But the blacks, right, don't have that. The blacks have to go look for work from the same people that the immigrants are getting jobs from. This is a fact. And when they say, oh, you would have never came here if there was a Jim Crow law. Sir, I wasn't born back then. Okay? We don't know. There were Africans who came here and went to college. We've never seen them talk about no Jim Crow law. The African and for instance, it's so crazy. You know what happened to the blacks? You know, here's what happened to the blacks. Their ancestors were brought here as slaves, right? And now they became emancipated in a predominantly European society. So now they've gotten taste and greed for white comfort. They've lost their innocence from the contentment they had as Africans, to now tasting the white man's way of living. So now they think they are fighting so hard to get close to not only to be close to the white man, they want to be like the whites. But their idea of whiteness is completely different. Completely different. So they've always done it because even to fight for freedom, the blacks had to nag the white people and guilt them into fighting a war on their behalf. And they did. Civil rights, the same thing. They matched with the white people, but there was another agenda because where they use the blacks. Let's just be real. They use the blacks, but you know um just like they are doing today. So clearly, when you say you're foundational to America, you have to prove this. When you say You built this country. You have to prove this. When you say you have culture, you have to be able to define and explain your culture. Don't tell me about white supremacy. When that fails, now you want to blame the quote unquote tethers because they call black immigrants tethers. I mean, just imagine. And then and then they will be like, oh, you all call us Akata. And then the people, Nigerians would come, the people that actually made the word. The Nigerians are like, oh, no, 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 no. Akata is not a bad word. In fact, Akata applies to like Nigerians that traveled to America that come back. We call them Akata. The blacks are like, no, 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 no. Oh, it means cutting pickers. It means so what does that tell you? It's like they fight so hard for victimhood. And I've told you guys this. The white people have gotten smarter and they've called the white people all kind of white supremacists, and the white people ignored them. They've run around all different channels. They said they've built, things. And you're like, okay, like LeBron James is a good basketball player. That doesn't mean all black people can play basketball. But no, that's how they put it. And then you're like, okay, what about the hoods? You're like, oh, shut up. What about Black Wall Street? And then you go read about the history of Black Wall Street. The stores is just one little block. And do you guys know, ever since that riot, that place have got, in fact, the place got built within 5 years. Within 5 years, it was rebuilt. Go read up on it. So many of these people, they keep repeating this. And now their last stop is Africans. And they are not liking Africans right now because FBA think, they want to impose. They want to impose their quote unquote code. Who knows what that is? They themselves don't have a code. They don't understand what their code is, but they want other people to listen to them. So that is the conversation we're going to have. And you will see once they are confronted with reality, they start getting upset. So this is what you deal with. And I think that being upset is pretense, pretending to be mad so that the conversation cannot go forward. Because if you believe in what you're saying, just explain it. You're just being asked a question, just explain the question, the answer. But no. And they will come here and be like, oh, why, there goes the tethers, they're talking about us. No, African people are not talking about blacks. They're not even thinking about blacks. But it is the blacks that are trying to force themselves on Africans, seeking African attention, while at the same time saying, oh, we don't care about the Africans. No. Who is crying to who about saying, oh, we have culture? And then you point to the culture, it is white people's culture. There's, do you know that the blacks are actually they're the real culture vulture? I mean, just look around you. Even these HBCUs that the blacks talk about, do you know all the HBCUs are built by white people? These are white schools built by white people, and they bring in blacks. It's not like the blacks built it, you know, which is why still the government sponsors it. So I'm not here to, put down the blacks or whatsoever, but hey, they sh- they are here trying to brainwash Africans and wasting Africans' time on things that don't really matter. You see? I mean, you said you wanted to delineate, but you turn around and say, oh, the Africans don't want us. our children and their kids to play. Well, I thought you were superior to the Africans. You don't want the Africans. What, if their kids, if they're stopping their kids, that means they are doing you a favor. And when they started going to Africa, they started trying to, oh, look at in Africa, the Chinese, the Indians, all these people, look at them, they are building, they are colonizing the Africans. The Africans are like, no, look, this place is a third world developing. Anyone, if you got the money, you can come here and invest. And then some Africans were like, nah, the blacks don't got money. They just gonna keep talking. They're like, oh, if we combine our money, we're going to be 1 trillion. Okay, uh, like, so you're gonna combine every black person's money, you know? So in reality, like I just knew it wasn't gonna go anywhere. At the end of the day, it's about trade. It's about trade. And then some got smart. They were like, "Oh, let's beg for land." Even Tariq, the leader of FBA, he's on tape in Zimbabwe. This was when he, was repping the Pan African wing. On tape, begging for land, begging for free land. You see, so when Africans and other people come here, they don't want to be part of that type of program. They want to go, do their hustle, you know? And yeah, some people they're like, oh, look at these Africans are just talking, you know. We got larger spending power. Spending so you were bragging about being a consumer. That means you're admitting. See, I don't think most of these people even understand what they are saying. They say to you, oh, we have trillion, we're worth $1 trillion spending power. Do you know what you just told me? You just told me you guys are not investors, you guys don't build anything. You mean to tell me you guys got $1 trillion passing through your fingers and all you do is spend it? So then they get mad and funny when this, other people observe this. Look, the first thing I observed here in America, some of the blacks I worked with, every Friday they would buy a new Jordan as soon as they get their paycheck. Okay? When new shoes comes out, new Jordans, they would line up. I remember like the first time I saw this, I was like walking around in the mall with my uncle, and that's the first time. No, actually, I saw a bunch of blacks lined up, and then I asked my uncle. I was like, what's going on? Like, I said, there's so many blacks lined up today. He's like, oh, we walked. It was Foot Locker, and then the big poster was there, saying the new Jordans were dropping. Okay, so and people were dropping over $100 on that back then. And for me, I'm like, hey, at the time, honestly, I was just like, man, I didn't look at the blacks as saying they are dumb or whatsoever. To be honest, I'm like, hey, these people got it good over here. They can just go and drop $100 on a sneaker. To me, at the time, I'm like, oh, hell no. I'm not about to spend no $100 on a shoe. Man, is this shoes gonna make me fly or play ball like Michael Jordan? Like I'm sitting there, I'm making those are the type of decisions I was making. Okay. So I'm thinking to myself, hey, if I put aside $100 every pay period, every Friday. I mean, pretty soon I'll be able to buy me, you know, my own car. Then I don't have to ride the bus anymore. This is how a lot of smart immigrants are thinking. They will be riding the bus, and then these same people, and then pretty soon, imagine at the time, I'm looking at the blacks like they got it going on. And then years later, you discover that guy can't even pay their bill, but they're gonna spend $100 on a shoe, $200 on a jacket, and quite frankly, that's their money. They can do whatever they want. But when I come on the internet and I hear them, you know, trying to attack everyone, blame everybody, for them spending their money on Jordans, bling blings, watermelon, Hennessy, Black and Mild, fried chicken, you name it. Strippers. Hey, and look, and if that's what you're into, that's your thing. But I don't know immigrants who are willing to spend their money on that. So it's all about perspective. For example, to somebody, they might mock someone who drives an Uber, but that Uber driver is building a mansion out of that Uber salary. It's all about perspective. Okay? So, and then in this conversation, they talked about, are the blacks lazy? And it's not, they accuse Africans of saying, oh, the Africans are the ones saying the blacks are lazy. But is this only Africans? Oh, the white people said it. The white people, that when we came to America, we found them here with the blacks. The white people are the ones that they have the companies. Okay? They are business owners. And in business, you are in it to make money. Who cares about skin color? So obviously, the business owners, they go for the people that would give them the most profit. And I get it. Some of you might be like, oh yeah, you African, they pay these immigrants less. Well, might be less to you. But to that person, that's a lot of money. Again, perspective is what counts. Perspective, what you make of it. So let's hear from even another Black American, brave Black American, about what he thinks if Black Americans or Blacks in general in America, are they lazy? And he is Black himself, but he wants what's best for the Blacks. So let me do the disclaimer, and then we'll get into the real conversation.
Because they outwork us. I said it. Now, I have seen Black immigrants are more successful than Black Americans because they outwork us. I said it. Now, I have seen this over and over and over again. If I'm dealing with a Black person in any sort of business capacity, you're dealing with people who do not show up on time. You're dealing with people who do not treat their business like a business. They treat it as like, some side project and, oh, you just broke, man. And, I don't have to give you good service. I don't have to be on time. I don't have to show up like a true professional. Now, Black immigrant business owners are very different. They are very hardworking. They show up on time. They come to America with the mentality that they're going to come here and work and build something, whereas Black Americans, and yes, I am 100% foundational Black American.
Did you guys hear this? So just in case the Blacks come up here and be like, oh, he's FBA. No, he made sure he let you know he's 100% foundational Black American. And this is facts. If the person purposely moved to a place you know, to set up business, they're gonna do it, they're gonna show up every time. But the blacks will be saying, oh, why didn't these people do it in their home country? Well, it's easier to do it in America and it's more profitable. So you, since you can't compete, now you want to cry. So from the horse's mouth, this is an honest FBA person. Here we go.
From slaves, okay? That is how Black American I am, and I will tell you that Black Americans have a very entitled mindset. We're always waiting on somebody to do something for us. We are always waiting on government handouts. We are always waiting on somebody to do something for us. And when we get positions and when we actually have businesses, have companies or whatever, 9 times out of 10, they're run terribly. I have had some of the most terrible experiences.
You see, look at New York City, Chicago, the Baltimore, all these places. You know how like the blacks like to say, oh, if they have majority city, they would run it. They already have them. They already have these cities. Why are people acting like, oh, if the blacks had it? The blacks already have it even today as we speak. As we speak. I'm going to do a show on that one mayor. They removed her now from a little town in Illinois, Chicago. I mean, guys. So she literally was running the place like the ghetto, drug house. That's how she was running, the whole place. So, no, not Lightfoot. What's her name? Stephanie something. But here we go.
Experiences that you can ever have when deciding to deal with Black American business owners. Now, don't hate the player, hate the game. Don't hate me for saying what is really real. Black immigrants are outpacing Black Americans because they outwork us.
You hear that, right? This is coming from an FBA. And I know, you see, they already have started. I know they're going to come up here and try to deny that he's FBA. They're going to say, oh, look at the hairline. The hairline is just 2 inches to the left and then 5 inches to the right. So therefore, that makes him a theta. We will be waiting. Oh, yeah. Go ahead. Thank you. Tiffany Henyard. Yes. Tiffany was running that place. She ran that place down. So he's FBA. Let's not allow some of these so-called FBA experts to come here and give us the hairline conversation. And we're tired of it. These people constantly telling us they built everything. They built America. Majority of America is white people. White America. There are some states you would barely see a black person, but they will swear to you that they built that too. I mean, so I think more and more Africans were seeing this on the internet. They're like, wait a minute. Okay, these people are now they built everything. I mean, if they built everything, how did they lose it? And then Africans started going on the internet, typing in black neighborhoods, and they started seeing it. You see? Did you guys remember when that South African black guy called here and said he didn't want the blacks to come? And that's another thing. The blacks say they are such businessmen, but nobody is like the Indians, they don't, and the Chinese, they're not in Africa telling Africans how they are such businessmen. They are doing their thing, you know? So let's find out what is FBA culture. We would hear it from the founder and the leader of FBA. Yes, they're gonna come here and say he is not our leader. But if you Google the man that this name is under, who has rights to it, is Tariq Nasheed. So he's gonna tell us, in fact, what what their culture is. Let's find out if this even is a culture. Fair use.
FBA culture? If you give like one word or maybe a sentence, how would you define it?
FBA culture is diverse and iconic. Foundational Black Americans, we're the only group who have internationally respected and revered heroes and icons. We're the only people who have internationally respected people like Dr. King, Malcolm X, Ida B. Wells, Rosa Parks, Muhammad Ali, Tupac. We have so many globally respected icons that other people just don't have. Yeah, we have our riffraffs, but we can balance it out with.
So he thinks that, you know, people all over the world know who these people are because he thinks, you know, um, they have this in the black Marxist movement, disguised as, black race. Um, most people don't know this. Most people have their own musicians. So you see how they would mention Tupac, who is a gangster rapper, right? But when you say, oh, the blacks promote, degeneracy in the music. So Tupac is a culture, but then they would say, oh, how dare you accuse the blacks of violence? But thug life, Tupac, that's what he promoted, gangster rap. We all know this. In fact, isn't that how he lost his life in the feud between the East Coast and the West Coast? You guys remember this? Between, in fact, one of their compadre, you know, P. Diddy. We've all heard about what's been going on. P. Diddy. P. Diddy and the baby oil saga. I can't even touch that story. They found a factory of baby oil at his place. And to me, that's not a crime. Maybe the man just loves baby oil. But why does P. Diddy have baby oil? And P. Diddy is a black cultural icon, if Tupac is. But maybe P. Diddy would go down in history as the man who bought a bunch of baby oil to keep his, because they're accusing him of, trapping people at the party. So they spilled baby oil all over on a handle. Imagine that slippery handle trying to open that to leave. In fact, some of the blacks have been spreading rumors that even, Nigeria's Burna Boy attended one of the baby oil parties, but we don't have proof here. I'm just saying. So Tupac is a cultural icon, and he mentioned Malcolm X. Isn't Malcolm X a tether, ladies and gentlemen? So he cannot explain their culture in one sentence. He cannot. Here we go.
Our icons, because we've done some phenomenal things as foundational Black Americans, and we created a phenomenal nation. The reason why America is phenomenal is because we made it phenomenal. We were exploited by the white supremacists, but the culture and all of the things that make this country great, that came from foundational Black Americans.
So foundational Black Americans are so great that they get mad at people for not wanting to go live in foundational Black American areas. In fact, the leader of foundational quote unquote Black American, Tariq himself, does not live around the blacks. So I remember how they used to get mad at me. They would be like, America is so racist. But then I see the blacks, any black that makes money, they move into white neighborhoods. when I go to these nice, white, safe restaurants, I see the rich blacks around there. You see? And every now and again, I will be like, hey, where are you from? Sometimes they'll be like, oh, Philly. They would name some area in Philly. And, it would turn out to be a ghetto. He would either be one of the basketball players or, you know, football, American football player. You see? So, yeah, when you look at some of these blacks, their behavior in the hood and in white neighborhood is different. They feel safer in white neighborhoods. Okay? Let's just call a spade a spade. So now let us bring you the conversation here at a podcast where you would see these guys acting like beta males. They can't handle the truth from just two second generation Africans. So here we go.
When he looks like
So this is a podcast, a Black American podcast. So you guys know they always want to talk about culture. So here we go.
What did you say about the African Americans?
well, he said we don't have any culture. When he looks like our culture, you know what I'm saying?
Wait, hold on. How does that look like? So I want to say something about this.
So the conversation is about culture. It's about culture. Because as far as we know, the Black freedom fighters, what are some of the things they always mention when they fight against white supremacy? They said they removed us from our native land in Africa, brought us into the white man's world, put us in cotton farms, making us pick cotton. They stripped us of our names, our culture, our mores, our folkways, our religion, everything. Isn't that what we were told? So then if you say you don't have to people that went through that and say they don't have a culture, why would they be upset? But now if they say they have a culture, but if they were stripped of their original culture, the culture that they call as their own, where did they learn that culture from? Because the people, they like to claim European clothing. Like they would tell you Gucci, Adidas. I'm like, you're just a consumer. Oh, we made it cool. Yeah, no, the white man made it cool. Okay? Most Africans ain't about to drop no $200 on that shoes. I'm just telling you right now. So, but let's find out what his culture is. Here we go.
Because I get that a lot.
Yeah.
Like because we have a lot. Because I'm a Nigerian American, right?
Yeah.
And our show is predominantly like a lot of Africans on our show.
Mhm.
So we have a lot of these kind of conversations.
Yes.
So someone like myself, I would say certain things that may offend other people. I may say something to offend an African American person, right? And they would now look at me and say, "Well, you look like us. You're trying to look like us.
No,
You're
you
trying to
are
dress
you
like
are one
us."
of us. You are.
So here we go. So they would try to draw you in. It's always one that is so much closer to the white man. We know he did not leave Africa looking like that. Okay? So we get that. But he has so much to prove because he has to show the blacks that he is not like a Kamala Black. Okay? So if he says this is their culture, he is right because he is a Motisa. Because the Motisa was made in America. You see how the one from the Kunta tribe is looking at him? And look at them. They have baseball hats on. The white man made that. Okay? This shirt, the white man made that. This is all white man culture. Do you guys want to see African culture? That's right. You're looking at it. You're looking at me. Pure pure leopard skin with lion, with with lion fangs, just to represent my heroism. You see, no white man made this. The cheetah is native to Africa. The lion is native to Africa. This had all of that from Africa. But can they say the same thing? No. But let's see if the blacks are going to try to lay claim to this. Let me read the super chat here. Mr. G1804, thank you for the super chat. He said, but they are Aboriginal, more more Hebrew Israelites. Yeah, they become anything that's convenient. Thank you again for the super chat. You said FBA created oxygen. Be grateful, you African. I know, I'm very, very grateful. Guys, thank you for the super chat. Please hit the like. So let's see here. You see, the light-skinned guy, the mortician, is very upset. How dare you say we don't have a culture? Then tell us about your culture.
American as well, right? You said
I'm American,
Yeah.
but because I guess I'm Nigerian as well, they're thinking I'm trying to look like you guys. I'm trying to talk like you, but I'm American. So I guess the point that I'm trying to make is, what does an American person look like, and what does an African person look? How is an American person supposed to dress as opposed to an African person? That's what I want to know.
I think it's pretty obvious when you look at Black American culture. Like, we do dress, we have a different swag about us, our fashion senses.
You mean you do go to the white man store and wear their clothes, and like the white man made Timberland boots for work. The blacks, since obviously many of them that wore that don't want to work, they are about swag, like he said. He said they got swag. So they wear work boot to go stand in the street corner. You know Nautica? You know the brand Nautica? See, Nautica is high end, but the blacks love it so much. But blacks like to be flashy. They are about name brand. So the white people, this is why when you go, they started making the cheap Nautica, the baggy size, and you would see the big okay, you would see the big sign that says Nautica, because that's what they like. That's what they like. Oh, sorry. Let me play this.
Different. Even with you.
But because I guess I'm Nigerian as well, they're thinking I'm trying to look like you guys. I'm trying to talk like you, but I'm American. So I guess the point that I'm trying to make is, what does an American person look like, and what does an African person look? How is an American person supposed to dress as opposed to an African person? That's what I think.
I think it's pretty obvious when you look at Black American culture. Like, we do dress, we have a different swag about us, our fashion senses.
Sir, everybody have a different swag about them. Guys, the way I'm dressed here, how many of you have ever seen this swag with, somebody sporting this swag here? How many of you? So just because you went to the store and you got you a shirt that said Tommy Hilfiger up in front of it. Remember, Tommy Hilfiger even said he didn't want the Negroes buying his stuff, and they still bought it. Okay? I mean, you would think people that worked primarily in cotton fields would have an idea to make their own clothes. But no, everything is by the white man. Let's just be real. And this is not at the blacks. It's just a fact.
Different. Even with you ladies, you guys are wearing wigs and weaves. Not saying y'all, I'm saying in general, African women do be wearing that. I've never associated women in the motherland being a rich, like I haven't seen that. I usually present with your natural hair more. I think
So you see, that's the main character syndrome. He said he never associated them with wigs. I guess Africans don't live in the world, right? So just because you don't associate them with that doesn't mean that's factual. That doesn't make it factual, you see? But he won't he doesn't get it just because just because he sees it that way, therefore it has to be that way, even though he's never been to Africa. Zongo said they are confusing new Africans off the boats from American raised Africans. Exactly.
think that aesthetic is
Great
more
point.
a Black American aesthetic. You know what I mean? Like, and that's just me personally. Like I said, I have never, when I looked at the motherland of African women from the motherland, I've never looked at them having all of this makeup and, you know, enhancements and surgeries and stuff like that. Like, so that to me is an aspect of
Sir, that's your bad. You see, that's the main character syndrome. Just like the people that go to Africa and then, instead of taking accountability for their ignorance, um, they get mad at other people. Just because you are ignorant of things doesn't make it a reality. This is what many FBAs are suffering from, because they just because they got a script about what an African's supposed to be like, the moment you don't follow that script, then you hate them, you don't like them, you don't want to associate with them, you know? I mean, sure, you want to come here and call the African dirty foot African, the booty scratcher African, making fun of bushmeat. In fact, I'm encouraging Africans. We should open bushmeat franchises all over America. All over America. Get the blacks addicted to bushmeat, and then we start putting on every restaurant, no service to Akatas.
looking the part of a Black American woman. Like, you know what I mean? So even how certain Black men.
But also, where did Black American women get that look from? They got it from the Europeans. So that's why I feel like Black Americans and Africans are on the same way.
Where do you think?
Because we're all wearing.
Where do you think the world get most of its fashion?
Boom! You see how they breezed past that. So, yeah, the hair. If you look at it, main character syndrome. These blacks, especially the women, they are so confident. They would walk around here and be like, "Oh, everybody want to be like us. Oh, we are the best. We set the trend," while wearing a blonde wig, and they would put blue contact lenses on and be like, "Oh, my great great grandma is Irish." I'm like, what? But everything that it's like they can wear blonde wig and still accuse white people of culturally appropriating them. So the lady is correct. The African woman here is right. You want to talk about the stuff you're talking about is European culture. If your culture, if you're originally from Africa and your your culture was taken from you, then something else replaced it. What is that something?
Fashion advice or sense from or styles from a Black man walking up and down the block who made his designs or made his appeal. LL Cool J, knowledgeable for rolling his leg up. And this is where I see Burna Boy rolling one leg up.
Oh, here we go. You see, deflection. So this guy is telling us it was LL Cool J that rolled his pant leg up. I guess nobody ever was doing this. So Burna Boy copied this from LL Cool J. Sir, I bet you when LL Cool J was doing that, Burna Boy wasn't even born. He wasn't even born. So people were not rolling their pant leg until LL Cool J came around. Are you guys hearing this? This is FBA. They asked him and they pointed out to him that they are culturally appropriating European culture. They conveniently just ignored it and went all the way. It's all the terror's fault. Because you see, there is no way Burna Boy would know to roll his pant leg up. He had to see LL Cool J do this. When was the last time we saw LL Cool J doing this? This is why I'm keeping an eye open for these blacks. If I ever see the Chinese copycat, my this beautiful, authentic warrior tribal shirt, and I see, because the blacks like to cosplay African, and they wear dashikis that are made in China. They think we don't know. Okay, that's how we know. Like, yeah, he just cosplaying African today, like Roland Martin would do sometimes, right? So we would be watching. It looks like Africans nowadays, we are standing 10 toes up and letting the blacks know, since you say you are the super blacks, now let's see you invent your own stuff. Let's see you do that. Here we go.
I need to hone in on the clip with Burna Boy specifically saying African Americans do not have culture. What did he mean by that? Because African Americans do have culture.
Well, if you ask a lot of Caribbean people or even African people, they question African Americans. There's no war. You get what I'm saying? We want to be respected just as much. Shit, if you let alone, we was shipped here without our permission. You get what I'm saying?
Right.
So,
and I think that's where the confusion comes in, because the culture is lost for African Americans. They don't know.
We shouldn't be attacked.
Started here 400 years ago. It came from Africa. So now you got Senegalese culture mixed in. You got Morocco culture mixed in with African American culture. Even just in Louisiana, gumbo, okra, all that came from West Africa. For them to pick up those traditions and cultures. So that's where they're saying you don't really know where the culture is, because it's coming from thousands of languages and tribes and countries, because we were shipped all over. We didn't ask to, you know what I'm saying? So that's where they're like, necessarily where they're honing in, where it's like, you don't have culture, is because.
But you shouldn't say that.
So you see, he's using victimhood terms. Oh, you are attacking us. Oh, just because we don't have culture, she didn't say that. I mean, like, what is the context of the conversation? That's what you should look at. Sure, like, somebody walk up to you and just say that. That's crazy. But what is the context of the conversation? That's what you have to look at. But you see how the blacks, they are already defensive because they're not standing on the truth. It is easy to, destroy whatever theory, they're trying to sell over here. Here we go.
Built a culture.
You built a culture. African Americans, you guys, you do definitely have your own culture. I can definitely say. I would never take that away from.
And it's crazy. I don't know why some of these guys, they want to argue with other people claiming black culture. They have a culture that is American culture. So I don't know why these FBA types run away from their actual culture and try to fabricate, another culture. Like, I think to go through slavery and then become emancipated, you triumph through that up to where you are. That's showing strength. There's nothing you should be ashamed of about that. You don't need to fabricate all these things. You can say, sure, yeah, we lost our culture, but the culture that we are part of, the American culture, we did X, Y, and Z. It's not like anyone is, like, because blacks contribute a lot to the entertainment sector of America, right? I mean, that's a fact. They serve in government, in the military, a lot of different places. But if you have to come and try to say you fighting people from third world countries, that means you are not sure of your standing in this country.
It's because it's lost.
No,
It's lost.
but I would
That's
never.
a mindset from thinking outside the box. We had to create as we go. Like
You have to,
everything,
right,
our
yeah.
language, how we talk, how we walk, what we make is also unique to what we are.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
I would never take that.
So I think it's just more so what has to be told to him that they do have culture, but it was made and created. And it became their own culture, hip hop. That's literally a culture from Black African Americans.
So my question now for you is, would you now say
No, the Jamaicans, Tedders, and the Puerto Ricans, yeah, the blacks, it's like different black groups. But yeah, I mean, one of the greatest rappers is a white man, Eminem. Okay, so here we go.
African American culture derives
So, like I said, black culture is American culture.
from African culture?
I think we all take a little bit of something from each other. That's shit is things.
I think that is true. And matter of fact, Art, can you play that clip that I had real quick, because this is going to correlate kind of to this whole conversation.
What do you say when people say where you from?
America. So watch how the blacks, everything, they're gonna turn it into being victims. Here we go.
No, where's your country?
My country is America. I was born in New York, raised in.
Where are your parents from?
My parents are from New York.
Americans, they don't know where they're from, you know.
I think American black people are the most lost black people in the world.
Yeah.
Do you get what I'm saying? Like, you see black people over here. You know where they come from. We all know where we come from.
What are some negative stereotypes y'all heard about Black America from your parents, from your friends?
You literally said it all.
Yeah. That's it?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Right.
Like my mom would tell me not to marry that.
Yeah.
Right.
She says it all the time.
My parents are both from Grenada. They came here in the 80s and 90s. So what he was saying about how they think that Black people are lazy does resonate with me, because I've heard that a lot.
And I'm West African, Nigerian, because if you remember the movie Sugar Hill, and there's a scene where they're doing the thing with the drug dealer, and the guy said, we can't work with Akata. That's a word that they were calling the American blacks, Akata, the Nigerians. Akata is a word that they use for American blacks. And Wesley Snipes was like, yo, what is this Akata shit you keep calling us? And the guy goes, we don't want to work with cotton pickers. Africans come.
So you guys see how you would get, some of these lying Africans. I mean, even on the internet now, there are many of these Africans, even most of them are from Kenya. You got those Kenyan YouTubers or Ugandans talking to the blacks saying, oh, we are inviting you, our brothers and sisters. So Godfrey, who's of Nigerian descent, but born and raised in America, did you guys hear what his definition of Akata is? But then you ask other people, other blacks, they would, now it just keeps changing. So Godfrey is one of those second generation Africans who wants to be, like FBA. And he knows the way to make them happy is to give them something to hold on to say they are victims. But here we go.
To America, and there's a lot of my African American friends say, man, a lot of Africans are really mean towards us. They're really nasty towards us because they feel they're better towards us.
You being a man from an African family, what would your family say about you bringing like an American woman?
My daughter's mom is American. Most African parents, if we're being honest, they would actually prefer you bring home a white person.
Every time someone books this Airbnb, I get paid. And here's the thing, I don't own it or...
A lot, I can't categorize
that. Okay, a lot of these people they are interviewing, you notice they are Nigerians. So I don't know what's going on in Nigeria, but Nigerians I know, I don't know if they prefer white, their their daughters bring white men or white women. I mean, Nigerians, as far as I know, they are very known for marrying their own women. So yeah, they marry out too, but they are very known to marry their own women or their own men.
Quickly say every Nigerian got this talk. But a lot of Nigerians that travel abroad got this talk from their family, where they will sit you down and tell you you're going there. Don't go and talk to those black Americans. You just go and get pregnant. You get into drugs. You start become the gang banging.
Well, I mean, can you? Yeah, well, Pookie and Rita do get these women pregnant. I mean, is the mother parents, are they lying? Come on now, let's not play games.
Give you that talk. That just go to the white community, find a nice place. They just go and be decent. Stay with the white people. They give you that talk. So when you enter America, you already have a perception of African Americans. You've judged them.
Well, we don't want them here.
They're your brothers and sisters.
They're not our brothers.
They are.
If they were taken away, unfortunately, we will develop by ourselves.
That video could have been a lot longer. I just wanted to
Right.
just clip it. But again, when we talk about these diaspora wars, and I wanted to get into that later, but since we're already here,
Right.
you know, when you even type in diaspora,
But you see how the blacks translate this to say it's war. I mean, for people who want to delineate, like they say, if that's real, why? I mean, if what this guy is saying, he's doing them a favor. Why even get hurt by some guy in Kenya saying he don't want you to come? You know, you're not their brother. You know, like you have to be softer than cotton. So here we go.
afterwards, it seems to be, you know, Africans or Caribbeans, and they have this disdain almost, or this disrespect when it comes towards Black Americans, often saying, you know, you don't know where you don't come from, but they would never say that to a Haitian or a Jamaican or a Trinidadian, even though we all came from the same slave ship. It's just different stops. But for some reason, Black Americans or African Americans aren't looked at as a specific culture when Jamaicans are, or Haitians are, or whatever.
Because those are majority African, you know, when they freed themselves, they fought for their freedom from their slave masters, and they maintain their country and their culture together. So this idea that people have disdain for Black Americans is a myth. You know, like everything is taken as negative. But the same people, they look up to Malcolm X, Khalid Muhammad, and all Farrakhan, all these, you know, their top fighters, they did say, in fact, Blacks were stripped of their culture, even their names. So it's not like people are putting you down. That's just the fact. Guys, the link is in the chat. Feel free to hit the link and join in. I see you guys in the back.
Antigua, like all of them are looked at. Nobody questions their culture,
So
and the fact that we always have to answer our culture or is being
Defend it.
questioned by people that look like us, you know what I mean, is very disrespectful. And especially when we have built a unique culture within America. And I think, unfortunately, the media does a good job at portraying only the negative stereotypes. It's just like when we were growing up, the stereotypes that we've seen of.
All right. So obviously he's going straight into victimhood mode. He wants you to forget reality. He sets it up in a way that you recognize him, that's disrespect. How is that disrespectful? So it's like having conversation with most of, you know, these FBA types. You know, everything offends them. The only thing that will not offend them is you have to lie to be cool with them. You have to lie to be cool with them. As you can immigrate to America. For instance, when you immigrate to America, your interest and a native born, whether white or black, is different. It's completely different. And that's no diss to anyone. You know, your average immigrant is not sitting there thinking about no black person. I highly doubt it. So let me welcome in the panelists. Guys, thank you for joining me. We have Kado, Elvish, and Ola. Kado, welcome to the Afridamus Report.
Yeah, thanks for welcoming me.
Kado, so you
Yeah.
see the, so far you've seen the clips I've played, and the conversation is about culture. So if the blacks were brought to America from Africa and stripped of, of their culture, their name, their mores, their values, everything, right? And now they learn a different culture from their slave masters. Should they be offended if people recognize that and point it out?
Um, you know what I think the problem is, before I've followed Black Americans, I've got to know about their history, and
Mhm.
when you get to know their reaction with towards other blacks around the world, you know, America is like a planet. So when they were living in America, and the whites promoted them in some ways,
Right.
after after the white promoted them in some ways, they got pride.
Yes.
So since they had pride, I don't like to use the word superiority complex because that was a word created by white people to make us confused about the actual matter of words. Yes, there's no such. There's not the whole thing called super. There's no such thing as superiority complex. The rightful word there is pride. So
Right.
they got pride. So now, and they've I don't know what sort of foolish thinking they were having to think that the world will not change, that other blacks around the world or other people around the world will not get exposed. Now people are getting exposed now, and they are now pushed towards the corner with their pride, and they are afraid to let loose and say that yes, they have been fake. They need to humble themselves and learn from other blacks and other people who have gotten exposed and become more than them. That is their problem. So the number one thing they need to do is, since other people are now seeing through them, like what I learned from a wise man say, a fool may think he's wise, but a wise man see right through him. So what they need to do, since others have already seen through them, they need to get off that they need to get off their fake pedestal and admit that yes, they are wrong. They need help. They need to be helped. I've already lot of I've seen how Africans in the diaspora and Africans in the continent interact. Why I always said is the only people who have problem, only black people in the that is causing problem for black unity in the world is black Americans. Because we don't have problem with Afro Jamaicans, Afro Caribbeans, Afro in the Africans in the Latin America or
That's
African
cap.
in Asia. We don't have problem with no other black people. The only black people in the world that Africans have problem with are black Americans. They are the only. In fact, one thing I know is I've read certain part in the Bible in the book of Proverbs that states there are seven sins God hate, and there are two that I noticed among black Americans: pride, and one of the sin there is one who caused problems among his brethren. Most of the time, when you go through history, most of who started this whole. Let me start with this simple one. Who started the whole issue of talking about, oh, we don't look like Africans. Oh, we don't look alike. Oh,
The
let's see
blacks.
whether we look alike. Who started this? It was black Americans, Afro Jamaicans, Afro Brazilians. None of the only thing I know about Afro Dominicans is they know they're Africans, but it's just that they themselves made it. I've never seen any Afro Dominicans that don't make. The only problem they have is they hate that particular aspect of themselves. So that's why they just call themselves Latinos. But
Hey, Greg, you're
they
Liberian,
do
right?
not, no, let me explain. Do not cut me off. but they do not talk anything else like that. The whole issue, that's why, like, I see it as foolish when other black people come to Africa and say, oh, see, we look alike. Oh, see this. Oh, yeah, you look just like me. That is complete bull crap. Why you think someone who is related to you will not look like you? Because black Americans that created that thing. They are the one who always causing problem among black people around the world, and they have pride. So they need to humble themselves and stop causing problem among their brethren, so that we can unite.
Thank you. Let me bring in Kidola. Kidola, are you there?
I was gonna say, can I go after him? I'm Black American.
Wait, Kidola. Kidola, do you see, Kidola, now that the blacks, because they've come and said the white man is bad, America is bad, but the blacks are looked at as the way they are looked at because of their proximity to the white man. If you remove the white man there, they would just be like South Sudan. What do you say?
You see,
shout out to the South Sudanese.
And also Kidola and the culture thing, because they fail to explain their own culture. And when they say people saying they are lazy, but it's not other people saying this. You heard it from the FBA. I want you to address that.
Afudama, you see, thank you for having me on your channel. You see, the Africans they took to United States, right? Those ones still believe they're Africans. The children of those ones, which is the second generation of Africans that came to United States, those ones still believe they're Africans. They ever pass the story down to their children that they're from somewhere else called Africa, right?
Right.
Some of them still able to speak their languages, right? Some certain language that where they're coming from. I think even when they bound them not to speak some of their language, but those people still know to say here, come, or whatever, water, this thing, because I could see it with the Africans in Guyana, they say eat fufu and their soup there. I think what happened is the Africans, after the third, fourth generation, slowly started cutting off from the African root because they become more intermixed now. That intermixed started creating problem because the white people there always making mock out of them because now come the colonization of Africa, right?
Right.
So now they really totally want to break them off from Africa because they don't want them to go back or have any connection to do with them. And then here come the Liberian ones they brought to Liberia. The same thing they told those Liberian ones they brought to Liberia that these Africans are savages. And those ones already have the mentality in their head that they're superior to the Africans they're coming to meet in the continent. Because they were like almost like a process to the white man in Liberia and be protected by the warship. Be supply weapons, be do all kind of things, those ones. That's why you could hear a lady come to this channel once every period say they are not so, is it sophisticated or uncivilized? Because they use words. They might not say it fully, but they will use some kind of words to describe
the native. They like to act like they are civilized.
Yeah, so they use some kind of words to address the natives, they say uncivilized, not sophisticated enough. So in the United States, this thing started growing up also to a extent whereby the mixture become more heavy now. We now have, because it's a one-drop rule, both the heavy light-skinned ones, like the people like the Smokey Robinson, the heavy mulattoes, the heavy light-skinned mulattoes now become more empowered than the darker skin. Because the heavy mulattoes start being more close now to the white man. Then the white man passing the law to the heavy darker one. You understand me? To mulattoes down to the darker one. So the mulatto tell them, you ain't no damn African. No, don't ever say you're African anymore. Look, you're a shit. You don't say you're African. You're talking about monkey. So now the darker ones have actually no say anymore, because if you check their leaders, their freedom fighters, all are heavy mulatto people. So when they start repeating this to you, you ain't no damn African, they start believing it. And guess what? They not create their own Indian in their head. Even when some of them are mixed with Irish and Scottish, which actually they are real ancestors, they start creating Indian in their head. My great-grandmother is Indian, Choctaw. Actually, the Indians never really want nothing to do with the Negroes. So the present one that came down into 1970s, with those who started having really close contact to African, the moment they saw African in the United States the first time, cruising, coming to study, that's where the hate started, the friction started coming up slowly then. They come to the 80s. The 80s come with this comedian shit of a thing. Standing comedy, Comedy Central. So for the Africans, for the African American to actually denigrate themselves for the African, they start making jokes about Africa as part of their comedy to the white man. You see, when I was in the plane, this dude, this dude, African dude, was wearing the shaker sitting down fat. Man, his body odor was very strong. He was smelling fufu. The white man, they start making joke of the Africans to the white man. They say, when I went to somewhere, I said, how you do? How you do? They make some kind of chant about the Africans. And that to tell you that they telling the white man, we no damn Africans, never, ever, ever tell us to go back to Africa, we're not Africans. So they start cutting themselves off. The white man is very, very sensible. The white man says, okay, we're Europeans. My father is Dutchman. Also, my father is German, English, Denmark, wherever. Then the Negroes believe, because they start telling the white man, they know Africans, that the white man will respect them for that. But the white man see them as lost people already, because the white man told them, look, you're damn Africans ass. We know where we pick you people from. And they never lie about the place. That's why I say the white man was always honest, where they're from, who they are, even when they could not speak the languages, but they tell them, you are from here, you are from here, you are from here. So you have to figure it out yourself. So jokes about the Africans started actually inside 80s, late 70s, 80s especially, to 90s. Most of their Comedy Central joke was totally about Africa. How to really make joke about Africa heavily. I saw a guy, they will come to like Europe and in the other place, they start making joke about, for them to really have the joke heavily to be strong with that accent, they start making joke about Africans odon, African in a plane, Africans uncivilized. That come out towards the 90s. You have to understand, Africans were not in YouTube or in any platform to actually portray who they are really. So what Africa was doing, coming to study, you see them, they do their things. The white girl or the white girl will run after these Africans, marry them, play with them, and be husband and wife. It's a pity that some Nigerian people, like that Nigeria program, those weird people who said, oh, you tell your children, you tell me a person that's living in Nigeria to United States doesn't know much about Black America. How can a woman that lives somewhere in the rural area, it kind of like semicity, tell their child about, oh, don't go and do this about Black America? They know.
Kidola, you're in Nigeria. Do Nigerian parents say that to their children that are coming here? Even
at all. You see, what Nigeria, if you're going there for study, they'll tell you focus on your book, don't disgrace us, study well. I don't want you to get paid, or you some of the scholarship might be from the community or from the government or from their father. It depends how wealthy you are. First of all, it's for you not to fall their hand. What that means, don't disgrace them in terms of your academic and everything. They never tell them who to marry, who not to marry. It's only when start coming about marriages now, culture that become heavily involved. One, they will ask you, who is this person? Okay, Black American. Where is he from? The United States. What is their belief in marriages and divorce and the children aspect? If people have children, who's going to where's the child? Where does it belong? Because Africans children belong to the man, not to the woman. Or let's you people divorce. How can we see this our children? That's only what they have. They don't have the Black American is not in their mind at all. Never in their mind. Only when they come to United States that they start be kind of like be attacked or kind of like be discriminated against. But we never really anything. So the African Americans, yeah, they have their own culture, but it's a culture that they conjure up with the Irish and the Scottish. They group it together for their own environment there and create to be theirs. All this Timberland, Burna Boy dressed like us. No, Timberland was made as a construction worker for white men. You understand me? The white man create Timberland. Okay, you can say you wear it to be cool. It's okay, but you're not the inventor of Timberland. The Dogaris jeans, whatever it is, that's a workshop for men, white man. But that's not the problem. But why are you always trying to attack the Africans to please the white man right from all your jokes? So they say Africans are cool. Africans are cool. I can tell you most of their top comedians, which is the set Godfrey is, this Godfrey you see now. Godfrey is that set of early, down before the 80s started, but early 90s, 1990, 89, 1990. Godfrey is that set of Africans. Don't blame Godfrey. Godfrey be bullying into this shit. I think Godfrey maybe one time because you can see how Godfrey look at Igbo man.
You know what? You're right. Speaking of which, let's bring Elvis because he also grew up here. Let's bring Elvis, and then Ja, you are next. Go ahead, Elvis.
Why you keep calling me Elvis? My name is Elvis.
Elvis. Okay. My bad. Elvis.
I hope that's not a sneak diss. Look, guys, we're all African on the panel. I think there's an African American person on the
There's
panel.
a couple of blacks here.
Okay.
African American, excuse me.
Right. So I think
I'm African American. But go ahead.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah, let me say this. I say this all the time because this is how I truly feel. We can't be insensitive when we're in this country. When we look back home into our respective countries.
But can you speak for yourself instead of saying us?
Right, I'm speaking for myself, right? I said this is how I truly feel. That's what I said earlier.
Okay, go ahead.
Right. So when I come into this country, and like you said, maybe my perspective is different because I grew up here. I grew up amongst African Americans. I went to school with them. I have friends. I had relationships, with African Americans for many years. And some of the fears that my parents personally had, about not getting, with the wrong crowds because of things that they saw, portray on the news and certain neighborhoods that were seen as dangerous and certain people that were seen as being negatively influencing, young black kids into lifestyles that's going to lead to destruction. But for me, I've lived in this country long enough to see the successes, the good things that has come out of African American culture.
Can you explain the culture for us, please? What is the black culture?
And you guys kind of touch on it, although I think you were trying to make fun of it, but it's a fact. Hold on, Ephedamus. Let me explain.
Did you see me make fun of it?
No, when you're saying that some of the things that are produced by white people, so to speak.
But that's
like
true. But this is
that's
true.
That's what I said, and that's what I was saying. I said some of what you said is true, even though you're trying to make fun. But the way that you eat your food, it can be unique to you. Like for example, right? You have the cassava, right? The cassava is a vegetable, right? But the way that you would eat it in Liberia might be different than somebody else may eat it in the Ivory Coast, but it's the same vegetable, and it grows the same way, but somebody may, fix it a different way. So clothing may be made, neutral, but the way in which you style it and the way in which you put those clothing together could become a part of your cultural identity. So
Do
just
blacks
saying
make?
that
Do they
because they
make? Do
didn't
they make
hold on.
clothing? Is there black? Do they make their own clothing
Yeah,
over
there were
top?
black clothing companies in this country.
No, I'm not saying. For example, like P Diddy, for example, right?
Right.
They said he owned liquor. He didn't own it. They just slapped his name on it. For
You say he
example, if
owned no, that
he didn't
P Diddy
own it,
had a hold on, Cadola. I mean, you gotta listen, right?
I'm just giving you example,
Engage to
right?
understand. P Diddy
Hold
had
on,
a
hold on. Like when he had Sean Combs, it's just copying the white man T-shirt and making it baggy. That's just what it is.
I mean, Cadola, you can say whatever you want to say,
No, but
right?
that's a fact. For
That's fine.
example, what I'm wearing here, you see, like in your picture, you have, I think that's a jaguar or leopard. No, I think that's a leopard. But this here is from a cheetah skin, for example. This is straight African.
Is that real cheetah skin or not?
Sir, this is not a made in China dashiki that I can say. But
okay.
But the point is,
You crazy, bro.
So that means it's not real cheetah, but okay.
look, here's the fact. Here's the fact, Elvis. The blacks, the baseball hats, that's all European culture.
I wouldn't say that. Immigrated African American.
Hold on, Black. Respect the
Let
line.
him finish.
Respect the line. Black.
Black. You see, this is what we say. Black. I read this story one time. There was a man, he was a free man, but he was known in the coastal village to like to cut in front of the line. One day he sees a line, he cuts these people off. He didn't know what this line is about. Next thing you know, he found himself in Virginia in chains. So don't cut in line. Go ahead, Elvis.
All right, thank you. Look, guys, I'm going to be short because my perspective has remained the same when it comes to this topic. We're not much different. Those of us who are continental Africans, we're not much different. The same, the thing that Nigerians wear, the attire of many Nigerians and the Igbos, the way they wear, the kind of clothes that they wear, we wear similar clothes like that all over Africa. Does that mean that we're copying Nigerian culture? The kind of clothing, there are similar clothing. You go to Nigeria in Hausa land, you go to Senegal, they wear those same kind of jalabia, that Islamic kind of gown
Well,
and
the
those kind of
blacks are
gown.
saying the
It's
blacks
not
are the
unique.
ones.
If something
No,
looks nice, hold on.
Elvis. They're
If something
saying we
looks
are
nice and other
copying
black
them.
people like it, they're gonna wear it.
Yes,
We
but
tend to copy each other.
I agree with you, Elvis. I agree with you, right?
Right.
But they are the ones saying,
And when
people
they
are
say
copying
it,
them.
just affirm it because it's true. Like I like wearing
No. You
Timberlands
see,
with a nice jeans and a
well,
nice jacket. Where did I learn it from? Did I learn it from the white man? No, I learned it from my black friends. So if they say that you dress like us, say yeah, it's true, bro. I dress like you. I like the way you dress. There's nothing wrong with acknowledging that you like somebody's style and you want to imitate that style. Just admit it.
Elvis, I don't dress hood. Okay, when I go to
You had a do-rag on your last stream, but okay.
Wait.
But do-rag is who?
Do-rag is Chinese. Okay, it's Chinese.
You use it for who?
Huh?
No, I'm saying that do-rag was used for hood by Black Americans when it was first created. It was not created for the purpose of hood.
Exactly, it's for Chinese. Okay, so when Elvis is saying, the Timberland, the white man came up with Timberland. When I put on Timberland, it's for work. That's right. Okay. For example, you have Sean P. Diddy Combs and Jay-Z, these rocker wear people. You don't see them wearing their oversized, baggy clothing. They leave that for the hood.
Bro, oversized baggy clothing was in the 90s. That's gone. That trend is past.
I know, but what I'm saying is today, are you telling me people are walking around wearing those zesty tight jeans that the blacks are wearing these days?
I mean, when you say the blacks, the younger kids have a way of dressing, like
Yes, but that's what
hold
blacks
on,
would say they are
fashion have
fashion.
trends, right? Amongst white people, amongst black people, they have trends. It lasts for a period of time, and then there's a new trend that comes into play. When I was younger, I wasn't wearing no skinny jeans, but the younger generation that came after me, they're wearing skinny jeans. So that's their trend. That's a trend that's
Let
in
me
their
ask you,
era.
I come in.
Elvis,
Afro Damage.
Elvis.
Can I say something for 1 second? I wouldn't take long. I beg you, please. Yeah.
Go ahead.
All right. So, where in this world have it ever been said that a group of people identity is called by their color? Nowhere in this world that people identity that people are being identified by their color. When you are white European, everywhere around the world. In fact, the whole issue of people talking about all black people came from Africa, that's one of the problems that caused identity crisis among black Americans, because that you can every black person, every black African, when you take them to Asia and so the Pacific, there are some black populations that you can look at them and know that they are native to Asia and the Pacific. And when you take them to Africa and you take them to to North America and let me just say to the Americas, you can see that every black person in the Americas, you can know that they are from Africa. But I'm not trying to do another argument now, right? What I'm trying to say is the whole issue of that is whenever a black person come and say that and justify their culture and try to show cultural identity just based on skin color, it is either that black person is a fool or they think the person that they are talking to is a fool. Because that it make no sense to even discuss that kind of a thing. Because why would you try to even talk of a cultural identity based on skin color? That is completely dumb.
The guy that's talking, I hope he knows that I'm Liberian like himself also. Right. So I'm
Yeah, you
not
are Liberian, no.
right. So my point is that everything that we look down upon when it
What
comes
part
to
of
African American,
what part of Liberia are you from?
I'm a crime man from Grand Juda County. The
You're
things that
coming
we
from,
talk the things
and
that we
I'm from
talk about,
Nimba.
I know, I can tell by your first name. I guess you're a Mano man. The thing that we talk about, you know, is prevalent within our own cultures in Africa. We're in this culture, so we see it on a day-to-day basis. But the reality is we have some of the same problems within our societies back home in Africa.
Elvis,
So let's not try to use this as a
Elvis,
dividing thing.
Elvis,
I'm like
you're
I said,
missing,
Afrodamus, I'm always for building
Elvis,
bridges rather than
Elvis,
widening
are
our
you
divide.
Elvis.
trying to talk the right thing, or are you trying to do the right thing, or are you trying to please people? There is a difference between trying
He
to do
is
the right
doing
thing
the
and
right
trying to
thing.
please people.
He's doing the right thing by telling you what the
Uh,
truth.
Kiddo, if you grew up here, I don't know if you grew up here or you came here at a more advanced age than I did. But if you
No,
grew up here and you had the experiences that I've had, your perspective would be drastically different. Most people who say these things are people who came here in their 20s, who barely had interactions as kids growing up, working in groups, really building strong friendships with African American, going to school with them, living in
I grew up
communities
in
with them.
Liberia. I grew up in
Right.
Liberia.
So your
I've
perspective is
never been
different than
outside of the
mine.
African
That's the
continent before.
difference.
Hold
You
on,
see, that's
guys.
the difference.
Hold on, guys. Let me
Kadola,
make
I'll
this
pass the
super.
mic. I don't have much more to say.
Okay,
If you want to give somebody else the chance, you can give them a chance.
okay. Much,
Afrodamus.
yeah. Thank you for the super chat. Jack said much respect to Elvis. Of course, he's tap dancing for y'all. He's based and view
No, he's not.
things from an objective standpoint. All right, Ja, it's your turn. Go ahead, Ja. Ja, do you all have culture? And Ja, I've heard that they called you a tether. So I don't know,
Yeah, I mean
if
they call
you're
me a
coming,
yeah.
if
So
you're gonna come as FBA or tether, I don't know which one, but what is
yeah, I mean I get called a
what is
tether.
you Negroes culture?
So first and foremost, thank you for letting me on. Salute to the chat and the panel. I mean, yeah, I get called a tether a lot because of my philosophy or my viewpoints. Because I grew up in like Pan Africanism and things of that nature. So I come from that position, so I get called a tether. I'm cool with this, it's whatever. But as far as African American culture, I mean, obviously we know the history of African Americans. Started with like the transatlantic slave trade, things of that nature, and a lot of our indigenous African culture got pretty much wiped away from us, right? More extensively than, probably than any other diaspora group, right? So, a lot of our culture today is a sort of like an amalgamation of like remnants of African culture, as far as like, maybe the food that we eat, like okra, we like spicy food, things of that nature, well seasoned food, things of that nature, right? But I mean, majority is European culture, if you will, right? From our names, our language, the clothes that we wear, it's all European, sort of like it's European, right? So I would say it's a combination of those things like that.
Now it makes sense.
I mean, that's just what it's not a matter of it making sense or not. I mean, that's just what it is. I mean, we don't speak an African language. We don't.
But
we might have certain things that we have in common, like maybe certain certain nuances that we might have in common with Africans.
That's good. What you're saying, right? That makes sense. But that contradicts what FBA is trying to sell. That's what the conversation is. Because,
I think here's what FBA is saying.
If you say what you said makes sense. You say, yeah, our culture will strip off of us. That's what I'm saying as well. But they are trying to deny that. They are saying they have original culture.
Well, I mean, listen. So obviously, like we know history. Like we're not nobody on the panel is dumb. We know the history of African Americans and diasporas in general, right? So we know about the translegislature. We know about Jim Crow, everything like that, right? So I mean, I think what a lot of African Americans are saying,
they don't have a culture.
But here's the thing:
the blacks have a redneck culture. Their redneck culture came from the South, and there's nothing wrong with this. And
I wouldn't.
Can I say something real quick?
No, let me finish because I can't.
Go ahead and finish up, bro.
Yeah, so I mean, I would say like I mean, some people could say we don't have a culture. I would say that African Americans we also created like a subculture of European culture, if you will, right?
Yes.
But we have our own way of how
you're smart.
I would say we have our own way of doing things. The way we dress and the way we like. Whites don't dress the way we dress. They don't walk the way we walk. They don't, they don't have the same fashion as we do.
They do. I have.
No, they don't. No, they don't.
Look,
and if they do, they're trying to copy us. Even how we speak Ebonics. Like Ebonics is like it's like known around the world. You get what I'm saying? But even that comes from
the greatest rapper is white. Okay. One of the greatest rappers alive is white. So like, what are you talking about here? Like,
I mean, that's
That's debatable. That's very debatable. That's very debatable, Afrodamus.
Okay, we will get to you. You can prove that. But okay,
I think that's a little bit subjective, but like, someone might like Eminem, somebody might like LL Cool J,
I think I see what he's saying. The fact that he's one of the top ones, that's the point that he's making. It doesn't matter what ranking you put him.
No, but it's not really true because that's I would say that's more mainstream hip hop. And majority of Black Americans, at least where I grew up at, like we don't listen to.
He's not even in my
top five.
Exactly. We don't relate to Eminem. He doesn't tell stories of Black people. Rap is not about just the lyricism. It's about the relatability in the rap.
Exactly. So like someone like Big Daddy Kane or someone.
Hold on, guys. Don't let him cut the line. Here's the thing. Hold on. Yes, guys, let's follow the line. Here's the thing. First of all, that is not true. America, right? People want to put emphasis on race and all. That's cool. But there are Black people. I know this, right? I've seen them grow up in schools. My son, he has white friends. He has Black friends. Like if some white person grew up with Black people, this is normal. When people grow up around each other, they copy each other. If a white boy grows up in the hood, you are a Black person that grew up in the suburb, he would have more in common with the people in the hood than you that grew up in the suburb. This is a fact. That's just human nature.
No. Go ahead.
Oh, Jesus. Okay, let's bring Buana in.
Wait, I wasn't even finished.
Okay, sorry, Buana. Give y'all 30 seconds.
Yeah, so I guess my kind of like last few words or whatever, right? I think I mean, if anyone knows me in the comment section, they know that I don't really engage in this kind of like diaspora war kind of rhetoric.
It's not a war. It's just breaking the Blacks with their main character syndrome, thinking that they are the main character. But they are not.
It's Afrodamus' fascination and obsession with FBA. That's what it is.
Here we go. Go ahead, Ja. finish up.
But
Then we have one.
Seriously?
yeah, I mean, yeah. So I mean, I think kind of reading the comment section like the whole time I've been here, this is Africans' time to, I guess, get their issue off or have voice their grievances with African Americans, which is fine. I mean, you have the FBAs, you have Tariq Nasheed, they're doing their thing, saying what they got to say. So, I mean, it's cool. I don't get affected by it, but I would say the things that you guys accuse us of, I mean, you can find that in Africa 10, 100 times over. So, I don't think none of us is better than the other one.
But
Obviously,
Africans never claim to be better than the blacks.
I mean,
That's
you
not
might
what
have
this
some.
is
You might have
about.
some that look down on African Americans and say, "Oh, we
No,
have a culture."
that's not true.
Things of that nature.
FBA doesn't claim to be better than Africans.
Look, it's just you guys. Let's talk about your main character syndrome. You guys are throwing a tantrum because now the white man is letting you all know there's new Negroes in town, and you guys can't take it. Let's bring in Buana. Go ahead, Buana.
Thank you, Afrodama. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you for inviting me on your show.
No problem.
So,
the new
yes,
Negroes
sir.
are in
Yes,
town.
sir.
Go ahead.
Yes, sir. So I am curious about this fascination, in particularly with the Western world, because the Western world sometimes it takes a movie, a Hollywood movie, and turns it into reality. For instance, one of the videos that you played just now, Godfrey, the comedian, a Nigerian comedian, was basically saying that Nigerians accuse, or all this thing comes from a movie called Sugar Hill.
I know, it's sad.
I'll get to it. That was made in 1993. That one of the actors in that movie was Wesley Snipes. But what the people accuse the Nigerians of is in that movie the term akata was mentioned. So I want to just mention 3 points. The first point is this: Sugar Hill was made and directed by an African American actor named Barry Michael Cooper. He is an African American. The 2 Nigerians who was playing Nigerians wasn't even Nigerian.
They are FBA. Fake,
yes,
fake,
they are
fake
actually.
African.
Yeah, but I'm
Africans.
yes, sir. But I'm gonna give them facts. One of the Nigerians, his name is Alex Brown. Does that sound like a Nigerian name? No. The other one name is Lord Michael Banks. Does that sound Nigerian? Absolutely not.
You see what the blacks have been doing
what
to
the Western world is
Africans?
doing. Yes, sir. What they do is they'll take a movie and make it reality. The other thing too is, where does this term akata come from? No one knows which tribal group. What I hear is
Yoruba. It comes from Nigeria.
They
Yoruba.
say it's a Yoruba word. Okay, fine. But why would a person from Ghana call an African American akata?
Or
Why would a
Gambia.
person from Gambia or Somalia or other African countries who come to America, why would you accuse the Africans? Is this nebulous word called African, or they call us akata? Which ones? Just the Yoruba people from Nigeria? That's a small grouping of people who actually came to America. You have Ghanaians, you have Somalians, you have Cameroonians, you have many other African people. Why would they call you akata? See, so the argument gets spurious there. The next thing I wanted to point out to Afrodamus quickly is when the interviews are had between African Americans, notice the other person, the Africans, are always females.
Right.
Why not have
Exactly.
why not have a bunch of self-respecting African men on the panel to refute a lot of the accusations levied? You know why? Because they know the women are easier. The women are probably going to more acquiesce to the nonsense.
They have that female spirit.
To the nonsense to being projected towards them. One last thing I want to say, Afrodamus, and I'm going to leave and let the brothers rock out. I hear that they say the Africans don't want to have nothing to do with us. They don't want to mess with us. Listen, Africans, especially Africans who travel hundreds of miles looking for opportunity, better opportunity, they are pro-intelligence. They want their children to hang around intelligent people. They are not pro-ignorance. If you are an ignorant person, regardless of the fact that you got African American, white, or any culture within America, Africans or Caribbean people don't want their children to hang around you, because ignorance is a disease. It spreads. It doesn't stay in one place. If I know your mother or father is an ignorant man, then more than likely she is spreading that disease to his children or her children. I don't want my children to be infected by the disease of ignorance. Therefore, I will say, don't hang around them. Any African American who's intelligent will do the same thing. So don't accuse African or Caribbean for not wanting to have their children hang around your children, because they may presume that you're an ignorant person. They don't want that disease to spread. African Americans would do the same thing to other African American people or white people or any other people. So don't accuse us for not wanting to be around you. If we perceive you as ignorant, we are pro-intelligence. The black world is pro-intelligence. I am not coming 100 miles to America looking for opportunity to hang around people who ain't about nothing. It's not gonna happen, bro. It's not gonna happen. But thank you, Afrodamus, for the time and the opportunity, brother.
Bawana, can I say something real quick? Just 1 second. But Bawana, our FBA parents never told us not to hang around, Africans just because, y'all were eating bushmeat and they didn't want us eating bushmeat. Well, you know what? We even would go to we would even go to the house and try. Yeah, give me a lizard sandwich. Go ahead. Yeah, let me try it out. That's how welcoming we are, or we were.
Yeah, whatever. Big Black, go ahead. You see the type of stuff you come up with. Go ahead, Big Black.
Okay, so let me make some corrections. First of all, we're African Americans, not FBA. FBA is a group, not a lineage, right? So let me just say that.
Speak for yourself, brother. Speak for yourself, brother.
Well, you're not. When you say FBA, speak for yourself.
Just say you speak. Yeah, just say you're speaking for yourself.
Well, I'm speaking for a lot of African Americans. So you
you
might not be one of them, but most African Americans most African Americans don't call them FBA.
Hold on, guys.
Can I finish? Can I finish?
Just say you're African American.
Listen, like I said,
I don't even think he's African American.
Not a lineage. That's what you all say when people don't want to join your little group. Okay, so
but you ain't
a lot of African Americans don't know what FBA is too. That's a fact.
So stop that, man.
He ain't FBA. I already know.
It's a group. I don't want to join that group.
It ain't a group, bro.
Hold on,
it's a lineage.
Okay, can I?
You ain't FBA.
I don't want to be FBA. I'm not in that group. I'm African American.
Yeah,
I'm African American, man. I'm African American.
Hold your composure and just talk one at a time, man.
Yeah,
that's right. Big Black. I was talking first, right? So first of all,
you foreign lineage.
Could you put them in the back, man? So okay. So first of all, let me start again. FBA is a group, not a lineage. So most African Americans don't call themselves FBA.
No, it's not.
God damn. Yes, it is.
Okay, go ahead. Finish.
Okay, let me finish.
I'll see you in the back, Tate. Just hang tight.
Okay, so let me start over. FBA is a group, not a lineage. Second off, right? That story that you said,
FBA is
right?
a hate group.
Okay, yeah, we can say that too, right? So second, the story you said about the man cutting the line and got sold, sold as a slave. But did you hear part 2 about the story of the guy that sold him as a slave? He wound up being colonized and just pretty much underdeveloped, sitting in the somewhere in the poorest conditions with a European wig on his head. So what I want to say though, so what I want to say though, as far as like African Americans, we do have culture. As a matter of fact,
I smell
it's an African culture because we're African, so it's an extension of our culture. Okay, you do have American culture, right? And yes, they did take a lot of our culture, our original culture that we had before we came on shore. But we did that and made our culture, which is a extension of African culture, right? We go to rap, right? I'll give you an example. We go to rap. You know what a cipher is?
The what?
A cipher is, and this was created in our hoods, right? In our neighborhoods, where you have a group of people, trading rhymes. That's African American culture. I could talk about a lot of other things, but it's a stitching of our African culture. It's just that we're
I think some of
over
that go
here.
back to the griots and stuff like that, right?
No, it doesn't.
All right,
Well,
that's what people say.
even if it doesn't, right? It's something that we made up. So it's
not
hold on.
real. It's fake. You
No,
guys,
no, no,
it's
no.
fake.
Here's what I'm
Fake
saying.
culture.
This is what I'm
You
saying.
didn't make it up,
Then
man.
what
You
is
West,
Africans have
you're
fake culture
West
too as
Indian,
well.
man. You didn't make it up.
Yeah,
You
you're
didn't
gonna
make
say
it
that.
up.
Wait, hold on. Let me finish.
You
Can I
West
finish?
Indian, brother.
Stop. Hey, listen, man. You getting mad because you a group. Listen, going back, right?
I hear your accent. You West Indian.
Yeah, you hear your
Hold
okay.
on, guys.
So
One
what I'm
second.
saying
Big
is
Black,
this, right?
Big
Here's
Black.
what I'm saying. Just let
Hold
me
on.
finish this.
Hold on, Big Black. Don't forget that your culture came from, you guys is from redneck culture, from Scottish and Irish culture.
No, there was no redneck ciphering.
Yes.
No, there was no rednecks in the cipher rapping.
No,
Okay.
Look, rap is a redneck culture.
No, rap is not a redneck culture. Wait a minute.
Rap
Hip
is
hop.
definitely not redneck.
Look, the first rappers came from Ireland.
No,
So,
you
go ahead.
crazy as hell. Wait, hold on. Let me finish though. So let me finish. So
This man
what
got
I'm saying
oxtails
is,
on his breath right now, man.
okay. Let me say this.
Finish,
Well,
man.
let me finish. Nachidian. Okay. Now listen. Here's what I want to say is that our culture, the culture that we made up, hip hop, right? Since it's from us,
It's not your culture.
It's an extension of our African culture as African Americans over here. So just because it ain't come from Africa, because we African Americans made it up, it is an African culture. We just happen to be over here because we are African Americans.
It was in Africa before.
Do you know how ignorant African American sounds? How are you going to be from Africa and America at the same
Stop
time?
with the self-hate, brother.
That's just stupid.
No, that's not
And we finally came to the realization that it's
Nobody
stupid.
listen, man. FBA,
We're not
is stupid.
African American.
I'm not
Aphrodite is an African American. He's
the
from
only one.
Africa and
You
he's
and
a
Tariq,
naturalized
you and
American.
Tariq
He's
and your
African
group.
American.
We're not an acronym, brother.
It's not a group, bro.
It is a group.
It's a lineage.
No, it's a group that Tariq Nasheed made
You
about
can
4 or 5 years ago.
You can keep telling yourself
Nobody
that.
was calling
Even-
themselves FBA
FBA is
in
not federally
2010.
recognized. Like nobody knows.
It's not even on the census,
Even
brother.
Aphrodite, when he says it, he's just joking. He
agrees
knows
with
it's not a group. He knows it's a
It's a
lineage.
group.
No,
He
it's
said
not,
He
bro.
just said it was a hate group. Aphrodite
No,
just
it's
said it
not.
was a hate group.
No,
Aphrodite,
it's
is it a
not.
hate group? Aphrodite?
Yeah,
No, it's not, bro.
Don't you see
Bro, get back to your get back to your plate
It's
of
a hate group.
oxtails, bro.
It's a hate group.
Don't you see their black
It's a it's a social media fringe group. That's what it is. Nobody knows what that is on the
Don't you
on the
see
streets.
on the thumbnail there KKK ropes on the black one and Big Black land the plane so that Tate can come in.
Okay, I hope the brother stop hanging on Tariq Nasheed nuts. Okay.
Well, he smells some oxtail on your breath. That's what he's saying.
No,
oxtail is a part of African American dishes as well.
Yeah,
it is.
that's what he
It
needs.
actually is. Actually, it is.
That's what you need to do. Get back to your plate of oxtails, bro. Because I don't know what you're talking about right now.
Okay, FBA and Tariq Nasheed.
All right, Black, are you done?
Yeah, I'm done.
All right, Big Tether. All right, Big Tether. Thank you for your
All right, big sellout. All right, big sellout.
Big Tether.
Big sellout. Big sellout.
Big Ted.
Big sellout.
Black, let him talk. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Yeah. Okay. So when you were talking.
Hold on, Kato. It's Tate's turn.
Okay. Sorry.
Go ahead, Tate.
Oh, that's baby Tariq.
This dude right here, man. It's
Go ahead,
obvious
baby.
he's not
Bro,
an
y'all
FBA.
two have some composure, man. Y'all not even cutting off the Africans. Y'all cutting each other off,
Aphrodite,
arguing with each other for no reason. Have some composure.
You know he's not an FBA. You know that yourself.
He's from Chicago, bro. He said he's FBA, so I mean he's African American. So that's what it is.
I can hear the accent. I can hear his
he got a
accent in his voice.
Chicagoan accent.
He's West Indian. He's from somewhere in the West Indies. It's obvious.
Tate, how do you know? You didn't see his hairline?
Because I can hear his accent.
Did you smell the beef jerky or
no, I can tell. I can tell. I got a very keen ear for accents. I can tell.
Okay. Go ahead. Your turn. Use your turn here.
Listen, I just want to get this culture thing straight. Like,
Go ahead.
first of all, I pointed this out before. None of us so-called blacks, negroids, whatever you want to call us, none of us have a true, authentic African culture. Our ancestors did before they were colonized. What we all have is a culture that is comprised of and composed of the culture of our colonizers mixed in with some African accents here and there. For example, in Nigeria, their so-called traditional African dress is mainly just Arab, Muslim, and Pakistani thobes, jalabiyas, kufis, etc., that they've Africanized and added African accents to.
Okay, he's
And
cooking.
then when you want to talk about traditional food,
That's not true.
all of us have the same foods in common all around the world. Rice is rice in China, in Japan. Yams are yams
Yeah, but
in
what about
China,
something like
Japan, or
okra? What about
wherever it is.
okra?
Or the only thing that makes it different or makes it unique is how it's prepared. Africans prepare their food in a certain way, in a certain style, and a certain flavor that makes it unique to them. That's their culture. Us FBA, we prepare our food, the same staple foods that everybody else has, in our own unique way that makes it unique to us. That's culture. So
Facts.
this culture thing is just a myth, man. None of us
Yeah,
have a truly
you just a
authentic
country dude
African
from
culture.
Mississippi, man. You just a country dude from
Afro-Damas,
Mississippi. You Obama, man.
Afro-Damas.
Nah,
Hey,
culture
didn't I?
is
Hey,
fluid,
you
bro.
see,
Culture can
you heard
change
what he
over
said.
time.
You heard what he said, Afrodamus. You heard what he said. He called me a Bama. Remember the other night I said that Northern blacks think they're
Yeah,
better than
yeah.
Southern
Not all
blacks.
of us. Not all of us. But you did say that though. I remember you said that.
You heard him now.
To an argument. I want to say something shortly before this turn to an argument. Yes. Can I wait? Can I say something shortly?
Go ahead.
All right. And when the African American brother was talking today, he talked about hip hop. He talked about raps. And he talked about these American musics. He said they were probably. He said in fact he said they were created by Black Americans in the hood or Black Americans in the urban part of America. Said talk of a lot of things. But what I want to say is, whenever a person want to claim something, they should check to in history to know whether that thing might have already been created before they claim that they were the first to do it. All right, I'm from Liberia. I'm from the Man tribe in Liberia. I can even rap some traditional rap that have been in existing from ancient time to
Go
you.
ahead and rap it.
Eti sekpane wule wele kita yike bablu kakpetan kobule kobu yene kobu tise maisen magunoko
Oh,
matapo
that's singing. You kind of doing a Drake thing right there. That's kind of like that Drake rap.
Come on.
That's a little sing.
Hey man, let the man cook, man. It's dope. Go ahead, man.
I'm not even done
That's
yet.
just whack, man. That's just whack.
I'm not even done yet, and you are cutting me off. Wait, give me a break. I know you're trying to prove yourself so much.
All right, man. Go ahead and bust that bullshit again.
I can't believe you did that shit on the queue, man. Wow.
Listen, I'm coming. I did it to prove a point, but maybe if I continue to use traditional raps, others will try to cut me off, be making fun. But what I want you to understand is that these people, they had their names for it. For example, warriors. When warriors were going to fight, they had songs. That's why I got to say Black American. I'm even confused because how will you name or that's one of that? How will you name a particular or general hip? What is the meaning of hip hop? After
Look, the Caribbeans are the one that
What is the meaning of Liberia and Monrovia? What's the meaning of that?
Let me end what I'm saying.
Have you ever looked it up?
Organize. When you are naming something, you organize it in a certain way, right? You see, when
So you saying all war chants are hip hop?
Wait, give me a chance. Let me end what I'm saying. Give me a chance. What are the things I'm saying is hurtful? Just give me a chance. Let me see it. When I'm done, then you talk to me on that, because you might not hear what I want to say. You see, those people used to do some form of rap. when they were praising our warriors. But especially after a fight or before a fight, they used to do some form of rap when they are praising their kings or their chiefs. They have kings that they used to be praising. For example, even Yorubas and Igbos do that. There are a lot of different ways in which people used to rap. For example, like, so those things, they were around the world. People used to do those things. It's just rhyme. That is just rhyme. The whole issue of talking about rap, that is just giving rhyme in a particular stylish way. But they are behaving like the white supremacists too. So, like, just as the white supremacists like to hold on to certain thing and have fake with it and say, "Oh, we are the one that did it. We are the one to do that." They are doing the same thing. The white men, for us, we Africans, a lot of people around the world look at the white people as fake people. For me, I look at black Americans black. Every black Americans should do their. I don't want to do some words, right? But every black Americans should do their history check. Get to know what you are doing, who was doing it first before you start to say you were doing it first. You think the whole world, when the war began, nobody was rhyming, nobody was saying things in rhymes. You think you are the only person that just got up in some hood in
Man, we started hip hop, bro. If hip hop started in Liberia, why didn't y'all do it, man?
I will say Sesame Street
making
took y'all
sense,
shit.
bro.
Sesame Street took y'all shit.
Listen, the thing is, and talking about the issue of Nigerians wearing clothes and saying that they took it from Arab and all of that, if you check the history of Africa and check the history of those traditional people in Africa, let me make you to understand that these people, I asked my grandmother personally before I even go to Nigeria. I asked my grandmother personally for my tribe. She explained to me, I asked her, I said, why they say the people used to wear long time ago? She explained to me that the people used to make their own cloth. Do you know that the Portuguese, the slaves that the Portuguese took, before they could, that when the Portuguese carried them, some of those slaves, they took them based on some of the things they were able to do. When you even check about Cape Verde, do you know how some black people go to Cape Verde today to make that land? There were people who were master skilled crafts, people who knew how to make clothes in a way that even Europeans never knew. They saw it as genius and a way of doing things. They even took in a lie on it. Let me tell you, those dresses you see, these Nigerian women clothes, you see these clothes these Nigerian women wear, these clothes these Nigerian men wear. Majority of those things, they were here from ancient times ago. In fact, the whole issue of the Arab thing you're talking, that whole thing. Do you know how the whole Islamic civilization came about? Islamic civilization is a combination of different cultures from Africa and the Middle East put together and put on the umbrella of Islamic civilization. Those were borrowed things. Those were things that Africans were wearing long time ago. So if you want to learn, you don't have anything to say, close your mouth. Do not come around and be showing how illiterate you are.
Thank you.
Kido, let me.
You know what? Hold on.
Can I say something?
He made a point before I forget. I remember. Do you guys notice when you go and watch some of those old movies, or like you check photos of like those, old slave photos where they had these Africans wearing the big white man's hat, dressed like a redneck Irish. They look so sad because that's not their culture. Okay? Like, so they used to wear that, but then generations later, the blacks turned that into their Sunday clothes. Just saying. Let me show you an example. What I'm saying here. Let me show you.
Well, listen, but maybe they look sad. Maybe they look sad because their African brothers like kind of sold them into slavery and stuff.
Yeah.
Hold on. Let me show you. The type.
You have an example of y'all wearing those white wigs?
Yeah.
Exactly, just that.
Look out, man. What you gonna do? Look out, boys. It's coming through. Yeah, man.
Hey, he's tap dancing.
Boy, he got it.
So you see the example, okay?
Afrodamus trying to be funny. Hey, but Afrodamus, can I say one thing in response to Keto?
Okay, one thing quick, and then Kemwe.
Hold on.
Keto.
I'm listening.
Traditional African dress. For an example of traditional African dress, the movie Shaka Zulu. The way that they dressed before they came into contact with the Europeans, before they were colonized. That's an example of traditional African dress. Nobody
from Africa
Ancient
dresses
times,
that way
there was
now.
barbaric Africans and there
Nobody
was
does.
Africans that were civilized.
Okay.
Just
Okay.
because
Nobody does.
One mic.
So this
Hold
this
on, hold
whole
on, hold
this
on,
whole
guys.
cultural dress thing,
You're
this
just
is a
saying that to
myth.
cool down too.
Hold on, guys. Hold on.
And for Thomas, y'all took the flip flops on the white man.
Hold on, guys. Hold on. So I'm gonna it's Kemway, but Kidola, you are the co-host for the
Yeah.
meantime. I'm gonna use the restroom real quick. Go ahead, Kemway.
Let the brother go ahead real quick then.
I'm sorry, I shouldn't have said that.
Okay.
Go ahead, Cadola.
That dude that said Africa tradition. I don't think you have to come and live with Africans actually before you really know their traditions. The Africans came to live with the Black Americans. That's what they could understand who they are. You could see the Ghanaians when they tie their black cloth or red cloth around their neck, those heavy clothes that be weaving with their hands and everything. Those are their traditional clothes. Their kings also wear these clothes also. It happened to be that my grandmother, when she was alive, this cotton picking of a thing, she used to plant cotton and they made her white clothes. White, long skirt, dress. They use also part of that to worship their voodoo also. You know? I don't know how she really make it, but she have the way she would pick those cottons and she'll be kind of like be elongating it, spreading it, rolling it, spreading it. At the time, I just see she just said, "But grandma, how do you get this thing?" So yeah, I just make it. Africa weave clothes with legs, with hands, and everything. I think culture of a
Hold on,
thing
I'm not
is
saying
hold on. The Yoruba's culture. I don't know if you see the Oyo Empire. The Yoruba culture clothes you see in what they call the Ashoki. These are heavily weaved clothes. Their caps, the way they wear their caps, and the way they move. I'm not from Yoruba, but I could see if a Yoruba person dress, I would know if it's a Yoruba person, right? If an Hausa person dress, I would know it's a Hausa man, you know. But somebody can also wear their clothes. Also, you also see that he's not. Maybe he put it on, but it's not actually from there. Because the way we wear it and everything. So culture actually is nothing wrong about African American having their own culture, creating their own culture. That's where they are now. But I said something when I came to this channel for. I said the first Africans that took there, even when they tried to validate the language away from their mouth, but they pass some of these languages to their second generation of Africans they give birth to there. They told them a whole story, especially some of them where they're from originally.
Alfred why you came out dressed like a hood nigga? What's going on there? You change your costume?
You know,
Look,
so
I want the blacks to be familiar
but
with
Ola, I'm not saying
I wanna look. I
Hold on,
have
let me
blacks
finish.
in the house. I want them to be comfortable.
So let me
I don't want them to be nervous about all that.
let me
majestic
finish. You see,
African
we
clothes.
all have our type of beats also we also wear. These are not Arab beats. The Yorubas have their own beat. I have my own beats.
but it's
You
a
know,
combination though, Ola. That's what I'm saying.
I understand combination. Look,
It's
surely
a
you must have
mixing, it's a mixing and a melding of different cultures.
hold on. You must have some certain influence, actually some certain culture, but that doesn't mean that is the dominating culture of your culture. You understand me? I have my own traditional clothes that I made for my own son. I put it on, I let my son put it on. One, I'm passing my culture to my son so that he will know my culture. I'm teaching my culture, my food, the way my languages, the way we do things, because through your culture, that's the way you think also. You understand? Why we say sometimes, why Africans say, what is African American culture is because of the way the African American thinks, the way they relate to it. That doesn't mean that they didn't have some of the African culture in them that their ancestors passed towards their ancestors also, it will be there. But because you people have already been heavily mixed with not Indians, right? Because you people want to measure always Indians, Creek Indians.
Well, no,
They,
heavily
they
mixed.
don't like Creek Indians to you people. You people are what called the Irish and the Scottish mixture. The Indians
Hold
don't
on,
want
man.
nothing to do with you.
I think
You
that I
go,
think it has
Hold on.
less
you
to do
go,
with
you
the
go,
mixture.
you go,
And
you go
Hold
to
on.
the
Let me
hood.
finish.
one thing
You
I
go
don't
to the
hear from
hood.
these
Most people
conversations a lot of times.
are them the jet black when you go to the
Hold
hood.
on, because I hear that. Oh, my grandmother is a Choctaw. This all you know. Your grandfather might be Irishman, Scottish man. But
I don't got no
because
Irish.
you all want to run from the white man,
That's
they
like
not pick the
when
Indians,
Africans
because
say they from
if
Syria.
the Indians was your relatives, the Indians would be very close to you people.
It's a lot of high
The,
yellow people
They
in
are. They
Nigeria
are our
too.
relatives.
It's a
hold
lot of
on,
The
high
native,
yellow people
the
in
native,
Nigeria too.
hold
the
There's
on,
still a
Native
lot of
Americans
mixing.
are our relatives.
hold on.
They are our relatives.
The
I
Indians prefer the white man. The Indians were making children with the white man. They're making children with the Negroes. You understand me? So if you ever say you have Indian in you, maybe it's a mixture of that white man, Irish man, or Scottish man with an Indian woman, or something like that. Because the Indians they don't want to come too low to the Negroes that they will be seen being with the Negroes. So any mixture of India you have with you might be the mixture between the white man and the Indian lady. You understand? So
Condola,
They,
you're swirling right now. So
no,
swirling's been going
no,
around in Africa for a minute. I mean, your kid's gonna have a white
no.
Irish grandmama.
Look. I'm not gonna lie. Hold on. Yes, but do I pass my food and my language to my son? Yes. Do I pass my traditional clothes to my son? Yes. Do I teach my son that this way we serve as a tribal man, even when I'm gone out of this set? Yes. I say, come a time you will sit with these people, and these people gonna be your people. And slowly, the tribal name, he blend with them. I said, when you become 16, I will introduce you as young, because in our tribe, we introduce the younger ones to the tribe now.
All I'm saying, Ola, is that I wouldn't be surprised if
Hold on.
it'll be 9% white people in your DNA
Hold
test.
on. It's not the first time Mr. can always come into culture as time pass by. But the problem with the African Americans is why you put reject the African side is you put heavily miss mulattoes. People like the Smokey
we don't.
Robinson. Hold
We
on.
don't
People like the
reject the African. We don't reject the African side.
The one thing that's
Hold
missing
on.
from your
Condola, why you
discourse,
hate
This
my
is
Smokey
brother.
Robinson so much, man? You hate
this is
Smokey
Yeah,
Robinson.
Can I finish?
that's not even
People
the
like the
problem
Diana
because we
Ross.
was
Hold on. People
isolated.
like
So the culture stayed
hold on.
insulated. But
Even
one thing that's
Makejazi,
missing from your discourse, my brother, one thing that's missing from your discourse is the fact that in the United States, despite everything, people still was doing stuff like rocking African masks in the churches till like
I
18.
just stop that shit. Why will you be in Africa when your people started making joke? Even your superstars were running to even Michael Jackson and Janet Jackson. And look, they were all featured Latinos. When I saw breakdance the first time, that was this 80s, 86. It is what they call boogie dead, electric boogie dead. All this is something what Michael Jackson copied from the Latinos. All those
I'm talking
heavy
to you
beat.
about African masks. You talking to me
Electric
about
Boogaloo.
breakdance.
So all we're seeing there was Latino boys who were doing the
No, it was a mixture. It was a mixture of that, but they got it from the black people.
Condola, African Americans mix Africans
If you check,
culture
if you
within their
check who's
culture.
bad, if you check who is bad,
You
Michael
see them
Jackson was
wearing the kente cloth when they're graduating. They have those kente cloth
Those are
which
made in
kente
China. It's all fake.
whatever Afro-Diamonds. You're the only real African. Other people are not real African. Come on, man.
when
These
Arrested
people are
Development came,
they're disconnected from the roots. They did their best to try to stay connected
when
with the continent.
Arrested
Give them
Development
props
came,
for that.
My thing is here's the thing. I've always been saying it. The blacks need to, come down. We re-Africanize them. This is
no,
what
it's lost.
you guys don't even want to be African, man. You guys are steady trying to be Europeans.
A big
Afro-Diamonds,
problem.
they
Most
Big
of you.
problem is African Americans
What
don't even
about me
realize
shows
how
you that I want to
African
be
they are.
European?
I know
Well,
Afro-Diamonds.
not you in particular, but I'm saying the vast majority of Africans seem like they want to be more European than African. You guys don't even take pride in your culture like that.
Smokey Robinson.
You're ashamed of your ancestors, man. If we're really honest about it.
Also, on top of that, it was through Pan Africanism, right, which is enslaved kind of like ideology. It was through Pan Africanism that a lot of African countries got their independence.
Pan Africans are black Marxists, and I'm going to expose them in the next shows. Don't worry.
Nobody's on the Pan
Yeah, but it's because of Pan
Africanist
Africanism
vibe
that
anymore.
Africans even have their independence.
I'm a Pan African. Hold on, I'm
the
a
only
Pan
thing
African.
moving. What are you talking about?
Me and Giles are Pan African.
but you ain't FBA though, Big Black.
No, Pan Africans are African American. It's a lot of African Americans that are Pan African.
What is FBA?
Nah, you ain't
FBA is a group.
FBA.
It's a
But
group.
Big Black, he's
ain't-
casting aspersion on your name. Are you African American purely, or do you have some admixture from the
No,
Caribbean
on both
to
of my
Africa?
on both of my sides, I could trace it to slavery. So I don't know what the hell they're talking about.
Let me show
All
you.
right, so that
guys.
means he's African American, bro. That means he's FBA.
Hold on.
Now hold on,
I'm not
Elvis.
FBA.
Hold on, Elvis.
I'm not FBA. I'm here. I will.
Where were your ancestors enslaved? What state?
Been doing your DNA testing,
Pretendians. Lineage check.
And I'm still waiting for the pretendians to get their DNA. All my I ain't from Africa people, you have not taken the DNA test. I want to know why. All you pretendians, why are you not taking the DNA test? If you don't come from Africa, why can't you take the DNA test?
You guys
right now.
Those DNA tests are a scam, man. That's a
No,
scam.
I'm talking about from a family reunion.
Tate, let me ask you this. So Tate, if you were taken to the Maury show and they said, when it comes to little Ray here, you are 99.99% the father.
That's wild.
So
Affidavits, you're out of pocket, dog. You gotta chill out with the rhetoric, man.
That's an FBA name.
Hold on. So Tate, they send
He's trying to be funny, but
he's trying to be funny, man.
Hold on.
The hell you bumper today?
just like Jaquan, Raquan, Lashonda, etc.
Hold on.
I'm getting the ball.
Hold on, Tate. And then they send you. The state is like, all right, Tate, we saw you on Maury and you are the father. So what, you're gonna write back to the court or call them and be like,
no, I'm not saying it's a scam. Afrodamas, listen. I'm not saying it's a scam in that sense. It can determine your genetics, but what I'm saying is, let me ask you this: is anybody here in a fraternity?
Affrodamas, it's not the same. It's not the same method.
Hold on. Let me finish. Now, if I was in a fraternity, could I take a DNA? Could I? Yeah. If I was an Omega Psi Phi, for instance. Hold on, let me finish. Let me make my point. If I was in Omega Psi Phi, could I take a DNA test that they could tell me that I'm from Omega Psi Phi? No. In the same way, no black person in America can take a DNA test and tell them that they're Yoruba or Igbo or Hausa or Kikuyu.
But you didn't answer your question correctly, though.
Hold on. Ethnic groups are social designation. They're not based on genetics. It's not based on genetics. Your race is based.
But then again, you talk about generation. People get born and people get created. People get parents and things of that nature. You can't say that. It's the same thing with a dog. If you want a pure breed of a certain pit bull,
you can't take a DNA test, man, to tell you that you're in a tribe or fraternity or ethnic group.
You can trace it back to see. You can trace it back to.
Those are social constructions, man. Those are social constructions. It's not
Actually, that's not true. That's not true. There are DNA tests that will tell you which hypergroup you come from. So it could tell you the tribal group in which you come from.
That's a scam, man.
You said that's a scam, but it's
it is, man.
DNA test can tell you the hypergroup group.
Either way,
no,
now
it can't.
No, it
can't. No, it can't.
Yes,
It can tell. It can tell you who your mother is, who your father is, who your grandparents were, who your great grandparents were, etc., etc. It can't tell you.
So let me ask you a question: are you an Aboriginal, my brother?
Am I Aboriginal?
I'm asking you. Are you Native Indian, Cherokee? What do you claim?
The FBA think they have Indian and
No. What do you identify as? One of those natives.
I'm a FBA, Foundational Black American.
So you don't think you have any lineage linked back to Africa?
Of course, I'm genetically linked to Africa. Everybody is on the planet.
See,
So
that's the
what were
FBA
you
ideology.
arguing? I'm confused.
That's the FBA ideology. I'm an African
Look,
American.
I gotta
So
say
FBA
to
ideology.
just go and
My
look at that.
listen, Mr. G. My racial root goes back to the rainforest equatorial pygmies, just like everybody else that's black or negroid, whatever you want to call it. Of
That's Mac.
course.
Okay.
That's Mac. Of course, now we know. Mac,
Go to
here's
the
the thing.
go
Yeah.
to the dead.
Why
They
did
will
you
tell you
compare a tribe? You know, tribe is a ethnic group. Is like you have your own culture. I can even tell you somebody if they're from a different tribe. This is not just to say I'm a Greek, part of a fraternity. I'm just interested. Why did you
That's what
compare
that's what we
something
got.
that is
That's what we
DNA based? Here's
Afrodamus.
the
That's what we got tribalism from the Greeks.
no, that's not true.
No, that's not
We
true.
weren't before we came in contact with
What
the
are the
Greeks.
different tribes in
We weren't
Greece?
tribalistic. We weren't
So are
tribalistic.
you are you
Not
What are the
true,
different
bro.
tribes in Greece?
You probably think you could get rid of
That's
tribalism,
where
huh?
the fraternities come from.
oh jeez.
A
Fraternities
Greek
are tribes.
ideology. Yes, it's no different. Tribes are
I
just
think
fraternities.
you're
Schools of thoughts.
confusing. You're
Tribe
Schools of
confusing.
thoughts are
tribes are
not
just
tribes,
Yeah,
my
let me say
friend.
this real quick. Let me say this real quick. You're confusing.
tribes are just a bigger, more expansive form of a fraternity,
No,
basically.
Hold
It's
on,
Yes,
not
let
it
the
me
is.
same thing, bro. It's
hold
not
on,
the same
hold
thing
on, hold
Yes, it
as a
is.
football team and a family that is people that have linkage
It's
to
just a
blood.
bigger,
That's
more
not the same
expansive
thing,
version of
bro.
a
You just
fraternity.
talking about
So
That's what it is.
Socrates
Yes, it
was a
is.
tribe. Aristotle was a tribe. So those leaders of schools of thoughts were tribal leaders, huh?
Diamond, this is the problem. This is the problem I
That's
say
where
with black.
fraternities came from.
But that's
This
what I'm
guy
trying
that
to tell you. That's why it
speaking,
sounds ridiculous because it's not a tribe.
this guy that is
Tribe
speaking
is
doesn't
based
know
on
nothing
genetics,
about.
not ideologies.
He doesn't know nothing about African.
He
Hold
probably
on, hold on, hold
but
on.
misspoke,
it's a
but
social
you've been
construct.
misspeaking all
Doesn't
this
mean that
time.
they're a
Hold
biological
on, hold on,
reality.
hold on, hold on. Let me tell you one thing about
You gotta
you
be
black
able
Americans.
to accept
You
that.
people don't know nothing about African at all. That's just the problem. You people see things in the white eyes. People don't know the nuances of Africans at all. Until you get there, then you get shocked. Africa is made up of tribes. Don't just say because it's Nigeria. Oh, they're Nigeria. No, it's not Nigeria. They're tribes from
Tell me
different
this:
groups.
how in the hell
Hold
are there thousands of tribes in Africa with thousands of different languages? You think that's
on.
productive?
Hold on.
That's
Until you
not
get
productive.
there.
How can you be
How
unified
you think there was a
Hold
when
on.
market
people are
Hold on.
speaking? How can you be
Until
unified when people are speaking 10,000 different
How you
languages
think
yes,
there
and
was
there's
a Mali
because
ten
Empire?
thousand different
because to
tribes?
you,
How you
because
think
to
there was
you,
a
you only
Mali
speak
Empire?
English. Until you get there, you know how to.
You can't be productive and you can't be unified like that.
But that is your own. Until you get there, you know how to navigate
No,
it.
I agree with him. I think
Imagine if a computer had 10,000 different programming languages. Could that computer
That's a false
function
analogy.
properly
I
and
agree with you. I think too much
efficiently?
diversity in nation building could be a bad thing. So I agree with you on that point. Whoever was
It
speaking, I
can
didn't
be,
see your
but it
name.
can also be a strength. I think we play on that a lot, and it plays into our
I'm
fear.
telling you, we
It
got
plays
all of these
it plays into
divisions from the
what we
Greeks.
feel about history. But
They divided us this way.
Africa is not related to the Greeks, please.
how much power you gonna give these
We're not related to the Greeks, but
No, don't bring
we
the Greeks
came in
in. Don't bring the
contact with
Greeks
them and
in
they
there.
brought their ideologies into
No, no,
to
no, no,
us
no, no,
and
no,
we
no.
became
No.
divided.
Oh,
So
please, 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 please,
The Greek part is wrong, but I agree with you
please,
about the
please, please.
tribalism.
Don't
No,
bring the Greeks.
the Greek part is true.
Africa have nothing to do with the Greeks. This is the bullshit. You people read books in prisons and believe it. Black Africans have nothing to do with the Greek people. They're not
Yes,
close.
they
They never
did.
met.
Yes, they did.
Hold on. That's what
We came
this
in
is.
contact with them
Nothing.
about 4,000 years ago.
How? Where?
When
Africa
they
had
when they
tribes before Greeks.
when they
Yeah,
came in
just certain
Humans
part
not
of
that
Africa,
powerful to make
Ethiopia
all
when
and
Africans
they
not
Egypt.
when they
tribes.
came
They came in
yes
contact
when
with the
they came
Greeks,
into
not West
when they came
Africans
into
though.
the
So wait a minute. We
but
are
during
from
that time, Elvis, the population.
Elvis. Are you trying to go along with this BS to say are we the same as Ethiopians and
No,
Egypt?
that's what I just try
We're
to
from
tell them.
West
That's the point that
Africa.
I just made. I said the
Oh,
Greeks came into
But
contact with the
listen,
Egyptians and the Ethiopians, not us
right.
West Africans.
but
And he
Elvis,
was trying to say that
Elvis,
West Africans was in Egypt at that time, and they
Elvis
came
at that
further
No,
down
we were
at that
not.
west.
Elvis, at that time,
How is that tribalism?
that was considered this
have no
at
power
that
because
time.
all of Africa
That was
adopted
considered the center of the world at that time. The
Listen, man,
population of the
there were
world was
tribes,
condensed in that area.
brother. There was
Elvis, that's
tribes in
what I'm saying.
Africa before Greece was even a place.
Why
Yes,
do
but they
people always want to give power to the white people? Like the white people created us and made us do
This guy is confusing me, man. Sub-Saharan blacks, forget about the Arabs now, the Egyptians, wherever. Egypt is part of Greece also. Alexandria is part of Greek. It's a part of Greekland also those days. I'm telling you about Sub-Saharan. Well, I mean the dark black skin you're seeing now. You understand? These people have nothing to do with the Greek people. These people have nothing to do with Jesus Christ. When they came, the white man brought the Bible to them. They have nothing to do with anything. They're just on their own worshiping their
they did.
beast.
That's where we got all these different tribes from.
Worshiping their
I just want to hear you say
Hold
this
on,
real
guys,
quick. I just
hold
want to
on.
hear you say this real quick. You saying that the Greeks made Africa adopt tribalism? All black
No,
people.
when they came into the Holy Land, where the population of the world, where the population of the world was condensed around Egypt, Ethiopia, parts of Sudan, in that area where Iraq is, Saudi Arabia, et cetera,
Nubia. Sudan
and we
was known as
came
Nubia.
exactly, and we came in contact with them. They influenced us. They brought the whole fraternity thing to us,
Well, you're
and
saying we. What
that's
makes you
what the
think your
tribal
people come from that area? What makes you think your ancestors come from Egypt,
yours
Sudan,
did.
and that?
Yours did too.
No, most likely not.
You are the one from the Greek, bro. Don't come out confused. Nobody's confused like you. You say you're from the Greek territory, right? It's good.
You see my
I'm not
name
from the
anyway,
Greek.
so
My ancestors not from the Greek.
I definitely rock with the Egypt thing, but we
Look,
You
definitely
understand me? Don't come with that nonsense.
Greek influenced the whole continent of Africa to
Listen.
wow, bro.
The Anu people, the pre-dynastic Egyptians, they came in contact with the
You guys
Hindustani
remember him?
people
You guys
and the
remember
Arab
him?
people.
Oh, this is Mac, huh?
Yes,
The
he's
dude from
Mac.
the last time.
Yeah.
I guess he got a different name. Okay,
Yes.
And
now you sound
listen,
similar. All right.
Afrodamos, listen to this guy. It's like
okay,
somebody.
listen. Let me explain. Let me
This
explain
Arab,
though.
this
Let me
guy's crazy,
explain.
man.
Let me
Man,
explain. It's gonna make sense to you. It's gonna
make no
make
damn
sense.
sense, bro. It's not making no sense.
No, it's gonna make sense to you if you let me explain it.
No. You look like somebody that
The
is crazy. I can give you
the
from 5 to
Anu people,
Condola, let him explain it, and then decide if you understand it. Go ahead, bro.
the pre-dynastic Egyptian people, which were called the Anu people, which were African
But we are not
people
from there. We are not
with
from there.
woolly hair, dark skin, etc. They came in contact with the Hindustani people and Arabs, and that created that mixture, and them combining created a new being called a Nubian,
India into this now?
which was a Nubian.
This
See,
is
there's a difference.
Egyptologist. This is
No,
Egyptologist genealogy.
no. There's a
Yeah.
difference between a Nubian and a Nubian. For example, the people in South Sudan, like the Dinka, they are Nubians. The people in Northern Sudan are Nubians because they are mixed in with the Arabs. That's what I'm telling you.
So anybody who's mixed is a mixed
That's not
being.
true. The Nuba people are distinct from South Sudanese people, or Dinka and those tribes. The Nuba people, the
They're
Nuba
they're
Mountain. You're talking about
yeah
the Nuba Mountain people.
they're Nubian people. They don't have they don't have the mixture like Nubian people, like the black Arabs of Northern Sudan.
So do you
There's
guys
a
see?
basic difference between
Hold
them.
on, guys. Hold on. Do you guys see what I was talking about? Breaking the main character syndrome. For Mac here, he is making up all this story. I mean, the blacks want to be white so bad. The reason why they're claiming Egypt, because if you
I
claiming
don't it's
Egypt,
I
wait,
don't want
hold
to
on,
be white.
hold on, hold on,
You just
hold on. Those
that's
of you that
false. That's
claim,
false what you're saying.
look, those of you that claim Egypt, I hope you know when you're
It
trying to force.
isn't
Hold on,
Egypt
hold
in
on,
Africa?
hold on.
Is not Egypt in Africa? What are
Wait,
you talking about?
Yeah, no, it's in
we have
Africa, but
Egyptians are African.
they're not sub-Saharan Africans.
sub-Saharan. You're erasing our sub-Saharan, history. You're trying to paint it like we like
African
we
is
might.
African.
No,
What are you
African
talking
is not
about?
African.
We're all a part
The
of
Libyans, the Algerians, the
Elvis.
Moroccans, they're not the same as West Africans or South Africans.
But listen, we're all a part of the same
Yeah, but
race.
sub-Saharan Africans are
No, we're
of
all
the
part of the
same.
same continent,
No,
geography, but we're not part of the same.
I'm not talking about the Arab Moroccans and all of them. I'm talking about us, Nubians and Nubans. We're all a part of the same
I mean,
race.
I don't even know what Nubians and Nubians are. I mean, I know West African, I know East African, I know South African. I know we are similar. You know, there are
We're
differences
all a
within
part. We're
that
all a
group.
part of the same race. What
But
we
our
have in
people in the
common,
North are way more different than we are.
what we have in common is that we're all melaninated and we all have woolly hair. That's our racial relation. That relates us all together.
And
Hold
you
on,
can
hold
run
on,
around.
guys,
So
hold
it's
on.
not me. It's not me trying to be white, like Afrodama said.
Hold
That's
on,
not
guys.
it.
Hold on. Let me read the super chat. Chukwu, thank you for the super chat. It said blacks tethered themselves to Europeans, Greeks, Indians, Moors, Hoteps, precisely because they are empty vessels who lack their own identity. Let me read this other one. Supergirl said, Can Tate take a break, please? I cannot with this Egyptology BS tonight. Well, Tate, Supergirl is kicking you off.
Man,
Until
making
next
me
time.
losing my mind.
Thank you for the super chat. So
The African guy, the guy that sounds like a white guy.
Well, you guys know that Supergirl is Egyptian. I think Supergirl is don't want Mac to reveal all their secrets, so she had to kick him off. But let's
Man,
continue.
apart from that, it's just making me losing my mind. I'm like, God damn.
She was
What
tripping.
kind of
How you
shit
do
is this?
Did you guys really kick Mac off? Come on, man. He had a different perspective. Don't be kicking people off the platform that you disagree with.
Somebody paid for it. If you
No,
want to
because
bring him back,
Afrodama, stop it, man. Don't do that. So if I
Elvis,
pay you $5,
Elvis,
are you gonna kick off Big Black?
if you want to kick Big Black off,
No,
yes.
don't do that, bro. Don't try to hustle us, man. Put the dude back on the panel, man.
Hold on, Elvis. You don't know the rules here. We practice capitalism to the T. In
So
fact,
you can buy kicking people off the platform. That's what you're saying.
look, here's the thing. Let's just say this: the Atlantic slave trade no longer exists, but this platform exists. This is the auction block. Supergirl used her Egyptian privilege. So
Supergirl she's threatening me too to boo me off. I'm fixing to go to Collar Nation soon too, so it's probably time to leave.
Yeah, so if you want to bring him back, you can counter Supergirl and
Can you
pay
kick
20.
can you get continental Africans off the panel?
What?
You kick continental Africans off the panel?
Yeah, African Americans just come on the panel and buy other Africans to get up the panel, and you guys can go at Afrodamas all day long.
You can buy me off. You can buy me off with $20. You can just buy me off, no problem. You know.
Who know that?
Magnesi have bought off, many Africans off the panel before. He's bought off Jamaicans. He's
why you had to put it in form of slavery, though? What the fuck is that about?
Look, we are in America.
I ain't gonna lie, he can take my spot. I gotta hop off.
All right. Well, thank you very much,
deal,
guys.
though. Good deal.
Let's do our closing statements. I don't want the blacks to come back here saying, "Oh, look at the Freedomers copying our style." Just because I look good in this doesn't mean it's your style.
What team is that? That's the Gambian Globetrotters. What the fuck is
that look like a Looney. Is that a Looney Tunes?
Yeah.
It's a Looney Tunes Space Jam kind of jersey.
Yeah.
Okay. Shit.
See, Afrodama, you do dress like them because you say you didn't dress like them, but you do have some outfits that are like African Americans.
That's the same chain. That's the same chain. I was going to say your gold looked kind of fake, but that's not gold. I'm sorry.
Nah, this is my trophy, with the lion fangs. But let's do our closing. I don't want to, make the blacks jealous because they can't get no lion, fangs or none of that.
Afrodamas.
Elvis is over here, booty clapping for the blacks, but
I don't know where you guys get that term from, man. You probably came to this country when you were in your 20s, Afrodamas, so you probably didn't really go to school here. You didn't do too much interactions with African Americans.
I've been to plenty of school here. I haven't,
tertiary school or secondary or primary school.
All I can say is I've spent, the good formidable years.
Yeah, but that's half of your life. You're like damn near 50, so you probably came here when you were like 25.
No, I came here way before I was 25.
And you probably bought that from an Indian guy at the Seattle Mall.
look, here's the thing. Even these here, you can go to the Vietnamese, black market. They got their own underground, company. So the blacks, they just complain and complain. Everybody got the hookup, you see, except the blacks. They just want to.
No, that black people that got a lot of hookups. Come on, man. You don't know black culture. That's your thing.
Look,
Africans. You haven't been entrenched in it.
Elvis, I guarantee you, the amount of blacks I know, you don't know that many.
Probably so, but you talk shit about their culture. If you know them, you'll know their culture.
Look, I don't talk smack about.
I'm saying that's not real tiger teeth on your chain.
How you know that, bro?
I'm telling you, got it from the mall, from the Indians.
Big black
Well, big black, your ethnicity was questioned, man. Dude said you're a Caribbean cosplaying as an African American, man. We got to double check him. Tariq Nasheed's gonna have to check your hairline. He gonna have to check if you're musty or not. You're gonna have to check all your senses to make sure you're FBA, dog.
The FBA group. The FBA group, anybody that doesn't agree with their ideology, they call them a tether.
No, what happened? I think the blacks in the South was mixed up with Haitians and Jamaicans a lot. So they might deny it. So even the Albani, you people talk about the Albani. The Albani is mixed up with this Jamaican language. That's what some of you speak like the Jamaicans in that territory. It's 80 something. A lot of these Haitians and Jamaicans came over there. So some of these languages you have today over there that the accent is a little bit different. It's a mixture of these people for the Caribbeans that came to those places where the Spanish was ruling and everything before. You know what I mean? So
talk about Louisiana.
they'll spread around. They move around, so they can spread around too.
But Kidol, if you're talking about the triangular slave trade, like the concept of like Black American, Jamaican, like it didn't exist at that time. They were like Africans essentially. Right?
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah. So those cultures didn't like.
If you want to talk about
what it is today,
you talk about the Galactic that will be separated, that be isolated for a very long time. Those also have their own culture. People like the Nakmizi, those are the real type of ones that said, okay, they want to say, no, you ain't no African. No, it's okay. I know Smokey Robinson have changed their mind for a very long time.
Why you all talking about Smokey Robinson, man?
Nakmizi don't say that. He said he's West African.
Yeah, no, he says that all the time. Exactly.
Yeah.
Dana Rosa plays his own role.
Wait, Elvis, did you say Kala was on?
Yeah, Kala's about to go live. I'm not sure if he's live now, but
he's probably over there crying. Let's do our closing statement.
Why you talking shit about Kala? Come on the Kala show, man. We need to have a peace talk, man. We got to
you just ran off. You know what? I'm gonna catch his show. Is he gonna be on later?
Yeah, he's coming on like at 9:30 in like about 25 minutes or so. He's gonna be. I'll be on there.
Okay.
Come on, let's squash some of the beef and the misconceptions, man.
No, there is no beef. All I'm saying is, we don't need no fake Pan Africans. Trying to come here and trying to tell Africans some fake story. Some Egyptology.
Kyle is not a Pan Africanist. Kyle is done with that. He's on a different.
Wait, Kyle is not a Pan African. What is he now?
That's why you need to come on the panel. Come on the panel. He'll tell you where he stands. His mindset has changed. He's on a different thing now.
Hold on. What is he now? I need to.
Well, he's just Black American now. He gave up on that whole concept of he says like, Africa would never unite and things of that nature.
Oh, he doesn't want to go to Africa anymore.
Nah, Kyle said he's not leaving.
No, I think.
Afrodamus is happy. Look at him. Like, that's what I wanted,
I defeated him. That's what he's thinking in his head. That's what he's
thinking.
Hold on. Why do the blacks think I don't want them to come to Africa?
No, we don't. We think you don't want us to be Pan-African.
Because Pan-Africans, it's a hustle, man.
It's not a hustle. So you saying the Pan-Africans in Africa are fake?
Yes. And I'm going to bring that show. In fact, even Kwame Nkrumah, all of them, we would talk about this here.
Averdama, the real African in America, you see person like Michael Jordan? That is real Africa.
Michael Jordan is a
Why
part of
you
my
say
people.
that? Because you
Michael
got a
Jordan's
white wife.
Kidola,
look like Michael
hey,
Jordan.
Kidola, did you know that Michael Jordan is also Gullah Geechee as well, right?
It's
Just,
Geechee.
but that's
Michael
the
Jordan's
African too.
Geechee. Kwame Brown is Geechee. A lot
yeah,
of people are Geechee, man.
yeah.
Geechees are great. You know, Jim Brown, all the great athletes are usually from that Geechee culture.
So you want to claim all the ones? Well, yeah, he's African. All African Americans are African.
because the white man never tamper with Michael Jordan and the Gala Geechee because they will be separated for a very long time.
Michael Jordan's an asshole too, man. That dude. He's a cone.
I'm not trying to start a rumor, but Carlos, his hairline, is questionable.
Dude, come on the show tonight. The show is coming on in like 20 minutes. Don't be talking shit. Come on the panel. Let's discuss it. It's gonna be alive. Everybody listening, go check out Collar Nation. Come on the platform and join the conversations, man. We need to have the dialogues between African Americans and Africans.
His
Let's do
hairline
it.
needs to be checked, man. Maybe
Come to Collar Nation. Check it out.
I mean, I really can't tell by some of the headlines. I think it's because y'all need better barbers, though. Y'all barbers be fucking y'all up in the chair and shit.
I mean, you guys are not following the Tariq Nasheed trend about hairlines, man. That nigga got Beijing on his hairline. That shit is super black. That nigga damn near 60. You know that's not his real hair.
It's some African Americans with fucked up hairlines and long,
of course.
Hold on, let me read this. St. James, thank you for the super chat. He said Afrodamos made colonizer change his mind. BAIO my ass.
Damn, St. James, I thought you was pushing peace on the network, bro. You was pushing peace on Collar platform, bro.
No, look, we're pushing peace. Here's the thing, Elvis. Carla has been talking about going. He said Liberia is theirs. They're gonna come and take it. Okay.
We've had that conversation. We have these conversations. I don't just let somebody say one thing and then I take that and hold it against them forever. We talk about it. We dialogue.
They allow him to take Liberia, so he rode off.
Wait, Elvis, you said something here. So Elvis, are you trying to say if we check even Tariq's own real hairline?
Oh man, you're trying to spread shit. I'm telling you, for a man who's 60 years old almost, his hairline ain't looking too natural to me, and it's super black, or usually black for a guy that's almost 60. You know what that means?
Well,
you put the 1 and 2 together, man.
Well, like your Liberian brother exposed the blacks. They like to do it fake. We knew, Steve Harvey's hairline was not
There's a guy called Exposed to Blacks.
Kedo, the strong Liberian.
Oh, the guy that was here?
Yeah, Kedo, the man that stands for Liberia.
Okay. It's my first time interacting with him. I guess, he's Liberian too.
No, Kedo was here the last time.
Maybe I just didn't notice it.
Yeah.
There are both decades could not allow Kala to catch up with Liberia, so he get pissed off.
You guys need to come on the panel and have a chat with Kala. You know Kala, how he be sometimes.
In fact, let's do our closings. Maybe I want to catch some of.
Yeah, all right, guys. I'm not going to say too much. Let's build bridges rather than dividing. Widening the divide. Let's come together. We can have fun and laugh and have conversation that's constructive. That'll be my closing. I look forward to seeing you guys on Collar Nation. It's going to be a fun conversation.
After you go.
Go ahead,
I think we can build bridges with people. You see, Africans have to see. There are some Africans you can relate with there that we cannot just relate with everybody. First of all,
Kedola, in a sense, the FBA thing is actually a good thing because you see some of these people they're separating themselves in anyways, right? So I mean, in a sense, it's kind of like a good thing. You have some African Americans that identify with Africa and want to repatriate, and then you have the FBAs and some people that don't see themselves in Africa. So I mean, it's a good separation if you ask me.
But Africa have to go pre-game first with the Gullah Geechee people. People like the Michael Jordan type of people. Then we can beat that.
I don't think it's about looks. It's more so about mindset, if you ask me.
Yeah, but somehow Michael,
because you have like the brother, Felipe, right? He has a strong, African mindset, and this guy's Creole.
Because he's missed. You see, people from the South is a little bit different. I don't know the other ones where they're from really and those things, That's what I said. We might be talking a little bit. People that be see, because the people from the South or the Gala people, because they will be isolated for some years away, because they will be first into the mosquito zone, and the white man was not really there, so they could really hold their culture, possibility.
Kidola, before you leave, what do you think about what Mike said? He said, Carlos said he was robbed by American-Liberian police when he visited Liberia.
Oh damn! Oh y'all can't let y'all just cook Tyler like that, man. It wasn't
I
nothing like
think,
that.
I think so.
Tyler is Pan African at heart. You know, he's a Pan African at heart. He just he's just frustrated with
I
but
think
you know
I think Mike
the
Mike might
FBA
be just
movement.
clowning him.
I know.
Carla
But
lost
Nola,
interest in Liberia.
you
He
don't like
wanted to,
you don't like the people in the north. You like the south people. Why? Because they wear a lot of flip flops like y'all in Africa. What's going on?
what was that? The people from the south of United
Yeah.
States? People
No,
in the
I
south,
no
the
disrespect to
southern part of United States, they celebrate. I saw they have something like Africa Day over there, right?
Okay.
They kind of like say in that possibility because of some group of people will be isolated for a very long time. The Galagechi people, where Michael Jordan's from, and people like them, Edu Moses, some of these guys from those territories, you can see by the skin color they're 95 to 98% Africans. If they ever miss, it'll be recent type of miss. You understand me? So you can deal with those ones first. You see where things, go from there. Not every black American is actually like punk. They're all cool people, you understand? But
Man, don't you see the blacks crying? There's like a guy that those people go there, Carlos channel. I think his name is like Dollar Bill. That man is like the biggest crybaby. He's as soft as cotton. But thank you, Kidola. That
You
guy
gotta
is
go over
always
there.
crying.
Then. Wait a minute. Why you run off though? You
Go
ran
ahead,
off.
close
I
it.
mean, I'm just saying. Here we come back on like damn. Well, you know what I'm saying that your guy your disciple Faith James tried to attack me. You're Jesus and he's Paul, right? So
Oh,
so he
jeez.
tried to I had to
Wow.
give him some work, but
You mean he
give him that
gave you
work.
some real work?
No,
And
I had to put I had to put some pause on, but he's still cool. Ain't no, I'm just tripping though, but he's still cool. But I don't know why he came at me. He's like, because I guess they beat you down so bad you ran off. He was like, man, Big Black, you was on the show the other week. Why you say nothing? I'm like, man, listen, man. Man, I did try to say Afrodamas. But actually you took another left turn. I guess you didn't like the beat down so much you came at us again. But the last couple of shows you was focused on Africa. You was talking about I told Colin, you was talking about the situation between South Africa and I think it
oh
was it
yeah,
the
but I talk
Nigerians.
about all of it. I even talked about the blacks and South Africans.
But after Colin and Dollar Bill jumped you, your next show was talking about the blacks. You was like you get back. You like fuck this shit, and then you went back to say I'm getting on the
Yeah, let
blacks.
me let me let me close out. So I
All
want to
right,
say
thank you, Big Black.
yeah,
Go ahead.
yeah.
Okay,
So
well,
now,
Thank
yeah,
you
let me
so
close
much,
out real
Black.
quick. You guys can continue talking, but
No, go ahead.
yes, I want to say thank you, Afrodamus, for bringing me up. It was a good conversation. I want to second what Elvis is saying. Like, we need to continue to move forward and bridge some of the cultural gaps or that we might have or misconceptions that we might have about each other, and just move forward and be wise and not get too caught up in the drama, the wahala, whatever you want to call it. Let's not get caught up in the social media drama because many of these things are not reflected in reality. You have FBAs and things of that nature. I've done a social experiment and no one I know, I'm talking about family members, friends, everyone, they don't know what FBA is. They don't know who Tariq Nasheed is. So a lot of it is social media, kind of like propaganda, drama, and I want to say just don't get too sucked up into it and just deal with the people you deal with who are like-minded with you and just move forward. I mean, we grown here, so yeah,
Thank
that's
you,
pretty
Jack.
much it. So thank you for letting me up. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Let's see. Mike said Dollar Bill said African women refuse to date him, so he's a victim. I'm not surprised. Mac said, I'm giving Afridamus a dislike for cutting me off. No, Mac, you gotta give the dislike to Supergirl. Supergirl paid for you to get kicked off because you over here trying to talk all about her history, trying to steal her history. She don't want to listen to that, so she kicked you off, plain and simple. So, but ladies and gentlemen, great show that brings us to the end of the show. Clearly, as you can see, the FBAs, they can't explain, their culture. They were ashamed to mention that the first rapper was Irish Scottish. So there you have it. Please feel free to leave your comment. I'll see you guys on the next one. And you can go watch Carl. I heard he's going to be on. I'm out.
Baby girl love my bop and I like me too. No roof on my top and my babe see-through. Hating on the pen, don't stop, shit ain't gon' feed you. I've been all on my grind, so why I need you? Baby girl love my bop and I like me too. No roof on my top and my babe see-through. Hating on the pen, don't stop, shit ain't gon' feed you. I've been all on my grind, so why I need you? Big flex, my swole up. Double cup and I'm pulled up. Niggas hating like hold up.